released in November. If they're dropping a trailer again today, that should be exciting. So watch out for Take-Two, potentially with an upside play there if it gets some social media buzz. Thanks, Fabian. It's 11 o'clock.
Oh, did anybody, before we throw guys, did anybody actually watch The Mandalorian and want to tell me if it was any good? Because I didn't watch it, and Disney sucks. We hitting the bangs for it? No, probably
That was
not. Joe, I don't think anybody. It apparently was getting really bad reviews. I'm just curious. You guys let me know in the chat. If
wow, Microsoft.
Disney down. Adara?
I didn't watch it, but why didn't it come out on May the 4th? It feels like this was a missed opportunity. You know what I mean? May the 4th, guys, come on.
That's literally all Disney's been doing is missing opportunities. Obsession, Fabian saw. What's that? Okay, Obsession, some horror movie came out apparently, but we're gonna get some Mexican cuisine today, which I'm sure will be absolutely delicious.
Sure it'll be gorgeous and
we'll be back at 2 o'clock. The shorts are now starting to work. Let's send you on over to the professor and Joey options. Peace.
Oh. And boom. There he is. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy Joey Options. I'm Sharif. And it is one of the nicest days, I'd say.
I know, I see 28 out there, my guy. It's tarp off season.
Pause for a second.
Yeah.
Pause for a second. Have you noticed the lack of anything coming with this fantastic weather? Think about what
humidity.
My aversion to.
Humidity.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Why can't the temperature be at these levels consistently without the accompanying humidity? Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's say hello to everybody. Joey, what's going on? Danny Dade Trizzle. We got Arcane Level. Shout out to Taylor Batty and Mr. Janky Stock. Cheers Live, Old Wise Trader, and the OG Bhavin Patel. We got Brandon and Christmas, 10 or 123. Dan, we got Mig, Raj, Don Sharifo's in the house, Chris Onion, and Trust Fund Baby, Jal Press, and Sahil. We got Todd, we got Jesse Martinez, we got the real Don D. Not the fake one, Joey, but the real one. We got Adrian as well. Patrick Irvin's in the house, and Jason Parrott, Wyatt, Encouragement 2023, DJ Rules Commodity King. We got Ahmed yelling Habibi. We got the OG Ichiro in the house. Happy Tuesday, right back at you, baby. Almighty J, right above Ichiro's name. The G is back, apparently. Good morning, my guy. Good morning, back at you, baby. Trader Sniper TV. And who else, man? Levi Corbett. We got the Fluffsters. Fluffy Hippo gracing us with her presence. Good morning, Joey.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone had a fantastic Memorial Day weekend. Mike Peter Ryder, I haven't seen. Did you call his name out? I haven't seen him in the chat. He's been partying too hard, taking the day off. Adam James, glad that he's in the chat as well too. I feel like timing out Jesse Martinez for some reason, even though he's done absolutely nothing. Crazy, that's my guy. We put him in a little bit of a timeout, just
right
you know, yeah, exactly. Just to abuse the authority a little bit here, Shree. But aside from that, guys, let's get right into things and see what we were. Yeah. Shout out to Ray J. That's showing Ray J got knocked out. Your guy Ray J, the R&B artist.
Oh, that was hilarious. Why is he my guy, bro?
I thought he was your guy.
He looked fantastic shape, didn't he?
Well, I mean, it's a little bit tough, but yeah, sorry, Jesse. 10 seconds for you, my guys. Let's get right into this trading stuff, guys. A lot going on here in the market. Tesla, obviously, the ones that you don't take work out the best, but we go 2 for 3 here in NVDA. This is the only name that I've traded. We start off with a loss. We get out when we're supposed to. And then we add a little bit more, added 33% more to this position. And then I just take off what I had in this position. And then sure enough, we get stopped out for the break even. I'm like, all right, let's be patient. The market is ripping. I believe we're going to start to participate in this name at some point. But it's been lagging, right? Like we were hitting highs of the days. We were breaching the pre-market highs in the Nasdaq and in the SPY. And we had a massive laggard here in NVDA. And it's starting to sell more aggressively. There is a lot of selling pressure within this name still. So what I'm stood to believe is that the shorts are still in play with this name, all right? So we take this long. We take some off right there. I missed the top. I was going to wait for 110, but I wasn't going to make the same mistake that I did over here. We remove 70% of the position, then we leave the rest for a runner for the break of the pre-market high. That didn't happen. We pull back, we hit the volume weighted average price, shows me some buy signals, so we reload the position, take it off, and then boom, I get stopped out break even. The guys to our right were asking, Joe, why are you laughing? And the reason why I was laughing is because the second that I get out, it just rips higher. So I'm like, all right, yeah, obviously that would happen. Other than that, TSLL, we'll go over to my watch list here momentarily. TSLL off the lows, trendline break, and then just goes absolutely nuts. Makes me laugh as well too, because it's the ones that you don't take tend to work the best, which is unfortunate. Now moving over to our watch list here, guys, we have the Nasdaq, the SPY, obviously always in the corner of our eye. I'll rotate this one here to see how we're performing on the S&P, and then we have DRAM going absolutely nuts. Take a look at this name from a daily perspective, just gapping up to new all-time highs. So we are going parabolic in some of these memory stores named Samsung and SK Hynix, top holdings in this name specifically, NVDA, and then Tesla. Who do you got up there, my guy?
Assassino, my birthday yesterday. Her birthday today, Casey.
No, that's Casey.
520 frickin' 6 is in the house. Her name is her birthday, so I mean, it's pretty right on the nose right there, right? Shout out to Casey, the real OG in the chat. She's a fantastic small cap gapper trader. If you're newer to the channel, just look out for that KC526 moniker in the chat. It is this lovely lady right here. It is her birthday. So I'd love for everybody to kind of, just get behind the community. Shout out this lovely lady right here. Tell her happy birthday. We love you, Case. You're a fantastic member of the community, and we're all better off for having you in the chat, quite frankly, because you are a fantastic trader. And I'm kind of selfish that way, right? I want the best people around me, I'm not gonna lie. So shout out to everybody there. Thank you very much for the super chat, MF Dangerous. It was his request, not like I would have ever said no, to shout out KC526, so shout out. We also got Birdman dropping 5 in the chat. Good morning, guys. Keep an eye on QTEX and STEX. I dropped $5,000 on both Friday, and so far, so good. I love to hear that. Shout out to my main man, Adam James abroad. He called this one. I'm like, hey, there was resistance at 8 at CODX. He's like, look, man, there is a lot of room above 8 for this one. And boy, oh boy, did it rip. Shout out to you, Adam. Way to have that conviction behind your trades. Way to put your money where your mouth is. And way to make that observation in a way that we can all kind of get behind. CODX is absolutely moonshotting to the high side. It is up about 66% or thereabouts with an 872 high. Be on the lookout here. Just before we review the side charts, we got to go to Adara with news.
Yeah, I have a story here on AAPL. I'm seeing this circulate. Not much of a move here on the stock, but I think certainly worth noting because of the company this story involves. American Airlines teaming up with SpaceX, specifically Starlink here, to install their Starlink Wi-Fi across over 500 Airbus aircraft. Deal is going to be bringing satellite internet deeper into commercial aviation, expanding Starlink's role as a connectivity layer for planes, ships, and remote infrastructure. So AAPL and Starlink, or SPCX, team up. Back to you.
Thank you for that. Shout out to David, also dropping 5 in the chat. Happy birthday, Sharif and Casey. Thank you, David, for the $5 super chat and the birthday wishes. We do appreciate you. And Casey526 just dropped 10 TradingTV Live memberships in the chat. Old Wise Trader, you got one. DJ Rules and Pac Rick, Jal Press, Shrimp, Pinpat, something like that. The G is back. Jacques, you got one as well, my man, as well as Cosmic Consciousness. So shout out to everybody in the chat, and thank you, Casey, for that. Gifting people on their own birthday. That's the kind of lady she is, man. It gives you an idea right there. All right, here's what we got on Assassino, because there's a lot going on, so let's get right down to work. BIYA. I'm not short Uber. That's Neil's positions, but as soon as I get into position, it'll update. Likewise, I don't think Joey's short 418.95. I think that's Katina Man's position, and he's giggling, so I know for a fact that that is his position. Shout out to the Katina Man. All right, so we're involved here, BIYA. I'm looking for this to hold up. It doesn't look like it's going to hold up here. It looks like it lost that 180 level, and it's about to lose 170. I have my stop right below that. BRAI, very strong, a bit more expensive, a little bit spreadier as well. I see 25 penny spread currently, 1859 high. dropping a little bit below 16 right now, still above that volume weighted average price though. So BRAI should be in focus. But let's talk about CODX. This one, what's the spread on this, Adam? Currently 3, 4, 5 pennies, okay? So it varies. It looks like it's mid to low single digits. That's pretty good. You've got a lot of breakout momentum here behind you. But the good news is you had a very clear area of resistance. That was around $8, right? So if you're gonna use that $8 area as initial resistance, then use it as support. It doesn't mean that you gotta get in right at 8. It just means, you know, if you're going to get into 830s, 840s, you've got to basically put your stop in and around that $8 area, typically below. So if that's going to be the case, then it has to factor in your risk to reward analysis. So you got to take the requisite share size to make sure that fits, right? What else we got over here? FUTG's moving, BRTX, a little bit cheaper of a name, about 28 pennies, but who can complain when you're trading at the high of the day? And nor have you breached the 10 EMA on the 5 at any point in the day. And there's good amount of volume, relatively speaking. I mean, about 250,000 shares per 5-minute candle on a 28 penny name ain't that much, but we're going to keep a close eye here. And TE Energy, not strictly a small cap gapper, but dancing around that $10 level. I'd like to see a decisive taking of 10. It's been a little bit above 10, a little bit below 10. You saw that double top, that breach 10, and then it failed all the way down into about 9 2/3. So that is something you need to look out for there. There's a lot running today, but it feels like CODX could be the best of the bunch here, Joey.
All right, man, good stuff. We're going to send things over to Adara, see what she's got going on over. We have the SPY and the triple Qs right at the volume weighted average price. Let's see if we can find some plays around this neck of the woods, guys.
We're now seeing here a U.S. official reportedly denying a report that sent to move down lower here in oil about half an hour ago. Basically, that report from the Wall Street Journal suggested that the U.S. Navy had begun guiding ships to the Strait of Hormuz. Again, now we're hearing from this U.S. official that U.S. forces are not currently escorting commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Back to you.
The back and forth is crazy. I just don't understand how they're so, you're doing one thing and then, oh, we're not doing that. To me, that's just market manipulation. Anyways, aside from that, I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Let's take a look at a couple. Your mic is low-ish, says Dan. Is it? I'll see what production's saying. But other than that, guys, let's head over to what we're looking at. SPY indecision print right at the volume weighted average price. Are we going to print a 5-minute hammer here on NVDA? And then we also have the TQs here, guys, as well. Every pullback seems to get bought up on DRAM. Is this going to be a signal? I like this leg here. It closes as green, and then you establish a new one. Now, if we hold VWAP here on the SPY and on the Nasdaq, I think there's going to be a good potential play. We'll give it some time to turn around. What are you guys saying about the mic? Is the mic fine? Yeah, no one's saying anything. So maybe just turn up the volume a little bit. But here's Tesla. This is where I missed the opportunity to take the long trade on this. You can see buying pressure slowly starting to kick in, but we also have a trend line break, right? So we have multiple touches throughout this. You open up, and then the volume really started to uptick, and you can see it stair step higher. So Tesla was that missed op, and it just goes parabolic. My next chance to get involved was at VWAP. Waiting for a pullback to a specific level, didn't get it, and then takes an additional leg higher. So that was a missed op. So be it. It is what it is. I think we're going to get rocking and rolling here on the TQs, especially if NVDA decides that it wants to find a bottom. We have a high of around $218, starting to slowly crawl down to $214. Why is this name so weak compared to everything else? I don't know. Short interest. I talked about it before, but let's see if we can find this long. 81.40 on the TQQs. That's when we're going to take our chance. We'll post up there. It either comes into that level or it doesn't. If not, then we find something else, Sharif.
All right, man. Cool. Giving CODX a look here. Giving it to current bar low, which is 32s. Where we in? We're in at 57s. Let's see if we can make another attempt at that $9 area. It is an 880 high. I stop out below 32. Also watching BIYA, looking for continuation. It did double bottom at 70. So let's see what this, how this cookie crumbles. But here comes COD. Already closing in on 1R on this one. Let's see if we can pop up into the high 80s. It is 880 high a day. Here we go. That's the 80 penny level, and there's a new high of day on CODX. I'm looking for at least a 9 test here. I don't think it happens in a straight line. We might have to zig and zag. And that's what I mean, right back down into the 60s. But there's another attempt at the high 80s, a huge seller at 82. Random area to have a seller there. I didn't anticipate one there. There it goes, ripping up. into another high day, 86, but no continuation. I'm waiting at 88, and we didn't get the fill, so we'll have to pack the patience. I'm assuming that there's going to be a $9 or $10 a level in play today. You don't typically get up into these 8s and then don't make a quick glance at least 9. Now, whether you get stopped out on the way, and here it comes, back into 45, so you're going to have to make some to lose some here. There we go. We get stopped out for the last remaining amount. Limit down, 768. Here it comes. Where it looks like we're about to lose 8. 768 limit down. So watch out for a limit down on this one. 768. Here comes $8. Is there a buyer at 8? There seems to be a buyer locally here at $8. So let's give this a try, Joey.
All right, good stuff, Mike, man. I like CODX there. We have Adam James in the chat shouting that out as well. What do I think about Qualcomm? Yeah, let's pull that bad boy up. As we're waiting for the Nasdaq to base out, we post up where we wanted to, see if we catch that fill. If I'm more patient, $81 would be more ideal. That'd be putting us a little bit south of the volume-weighted average price. But we'll head over to our watch list momentarily and see what we have going on there. DRAM doing the exact same thing. But let's pull up some Qualcomm. Nice indecision print off of the lows here on NVDA. Going 2 for 3 on the name. So do we take one more attempt on it? See, with the market starting to come in pretty aggressive, maybe we have to just be more patient and sit on our hands. Slightly green here today, nothing to write home about, but we'll take it. QCOM, let's pull up this bad boy and see what we have going on. What do we have on Qualcomm? Lengthy consolidation, like for quite some time we were doing absolutely nothing. And then we eventually have that breakout. And I mentioned last week on Friday, at this pace, and when you see such strength within specific daily candles, you will breach the pivot. And that's what we've done right here, now up to $260. What's the dividend paying on this thing? 89 cents. Not too bad whatsoever. But I think we're going to continue on this path here with Qualcomm as it now breaks through key pivot levels. And where does it stand from a larger perspective? Is that all-time highs? All-time highs on Qualcomm. So, yeah, really good stuff left, right, and center here. CODX, wow?
No, Qualcomm, wow, yeah. I mean,
like a name that we thought was going to be dead.
Exactly, and that's why I was saying, wow.
Yeah, exactly, and just rising from the grave itself. And so many names are doing this. It's crazy, like Nokia. Who would have thought that we were going to climb and just absolutely go parabolic in that name? You can see that we're starting to come back in the market, not participating. The individual who's reigning on the parade at this point, Sharif, seems to be NVDA. Let's head over to our watch list before we see what Sharif's up to and just go through the Mag 7 and see how they've been acting here today. And then we're going to kick things off. We've been going over it nonstop. That's NVDA. Starting to come off the highs here on Google. AAPL with the all-time high again at 311 approximately here today. Microsoft just continuing to bleed, not performing well whatsoever. Amazon to the downside. Tesla, Broadcom, and the boys were talking about Micron joining that $1 trillion club. It seems to get it bigger and bigger and not as lucrative as it was before. Sharif, I believe that we're going to see some more names momentarily, especially with all this CapEx left, right, and center. I'm going to call AMD probably by the end of the year. It's most definitely going to be in that $1 trillion club.
I just love how, like, nobody said anything about Micron inching on $1 trillion. I mean, that was crazy.
Especially on the run that it's been on.
Yeah, and the fact, is it above $1 trillion today? I mean, because we were covering it this morning, and nobody said a word. Here we go. All right, guys, we're killing it here on CODX. What a clean defend of $8 and aggressive add. Sadly, I was trying to even be more aggressive. I was trying to get teens, and I was trying to get single digits. I didn't get them. I got the $0.25. Here comes 3/4, and we're looking for another move into 9, right? So here comes... look, this is a good one. Shout out to Adam. Adam, you're really improving at these small cap gappers. I gotta tell you, especially lately, I've been feeling you've been trading a lot more of these small cappers. So good on you, Adam. MWC is moving, says Bovin. Bovin, I wanted to tell you about OTLK. I feel like OTLK is right down your alley, Bovin, because it's coming from the volume weighted average price, south of the volume weighted average price. And this is usually what you're pretty good at, Bovin. I mean, like, look at this. This yells Bovin all over it here, if I'm, quite frankly, because this is the ones you typically send me, these ones that are down and it just ripped up. And here comes 50 pennies. So I don't know how you guys feel about this, but that's OTLK. It might make its way onto the side chart. It might not. It really depends on how it trades. But Bovin was saying MWC is also moving. So let's see what MWC. Gray call out Bovin MWC looks fantastic over here. So who are we going to take off, man? It always is a bit of a tough one here for me to take off somebody because usually they're moving pretty good. We're going to take off FUTG. We're going to leave it on the watch list on the side, but we're going to take it off the side chart right now because I'm strapped for some space there, Joey. So that's kind of the way that works there. So continuing to watch here, CODX a little in of the money. I've basically taken out all the prints, but I don't mind leaving these dip traits to get filled at 8. And then, you know, they're so close to 8 that if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. But I do want to allow them to fill these dip trades that have gone unfilled here. We're out of about 2/3 of the position on CODX. We're still holding here, BIYA, about a couple of pennies in the money. But hey, look, I've seen a better trade, certainly on the day than BIYA. But the fact that it held 70 and now is recovering back into high 70s makes me feel like I should still be in the trade. So we're going to continue to watch that, but we also have to keep a close eye here on MWC, the new call out by Bovin, because it's making a pretty aggressive move. Shout out to my man Jay Lee. Joe Sharif got some TQQQ short now. USO just rose to over 138. I expect it will go to 140 soon. TQQQ will go into 79s, in my humble opinion. As a result, Jay Lee, always the astute trader, always trading these futures. Ozan, Nokia's average is $4. Ozan, I hope Nokia goes to like $400 and that, you know, you get so rich that you invite me, Joseph and I, to come down and visit you at Dallas. Now, we know how Joseph felt about your lovely city last time, but he seems to have changed his opinion since that time. So I don't want to speak on your behalf or anything like that, but I think you'd probably accept an invitation from Ozan.
I am, well, only if it's first class flight, because this guy's always got so much cash on hand. So you know what I mean. You get at least you could do
the least, right?
It was just maybe even a PJ. But anyways, other than that, first class flight for us. Yeah, Jesse. Oh, I don't know what to do with you, man.
Yeah, I heard that too, Jesse. I'm just going to say, I wasn't sure what was said there. You
see what this guy said to me?
He said what?
Bro, so I said I have to throw around my authority a little bit. I was going to put Jesse on timeout. Guys, like I filed a complaint against my boy. Our relationship is over. And I said, man, dude, you didn't even flip a coin to see if you were going to do it or not? And he's like, no, man, I couldn't even do it. He's like,
a man of decisions.
He is, man. It's all right. I told him I still love him, but at the end of the day, man, my boy narked on me, man. That's crazy. That's crazy tough.
Saying like a canary.
Yeah, man. Yeah. A little pressure. My guy's singing like the canaries. That's absolutely insane. Let's head over to NVDA as we are long that name. We'll see if we can get a bounce on it up to 106.50. If not, man, this thing is extremely weak. Market's starting to head a little bit lower, but buying pressure on the 5-minute time frame. Adara.
CSX to the upside, trying to break intraday highs. This is in the transport space, and Josh Brown just called this one a long idea, saying, quote, I would take a position here. So CSX, roughly, I think just under 3 million shares traded on the day, getting a long idea here from Josh Brown. Back to you.
Yeah. PJ guys, Jesus, come on.
Hold on, what did they think you said, Joey?
I don't know, man. The Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto Blue Jays.
I love this guy, bro. Yeah. Ever the good sport, though, straight up. Yeah. Ever the good sport. All right, guys, we're continuing to watch the accumulation here south of 9 on CODX. We're in at the $0.25. It's showing 2/3 again. But as we've seen, it's been putting in lower highs. That is my concern. You can very clearly see that just based on where my outs are. So, like, I'm out at the high, and then all my outs are a little bit lower than the previous outs. So I am worried about some lower highs here, but I am alive to the fact that there is an accumulation of sorts at this 9 area with a lot of aggressive buying in the low 8s. If that's going to continue to be the case, then I want to try to stack the deck in my favor, and I'm going to try to pick them up in the low 8s. I'm going to leave these orders active here for any liquidity grabs into that $8 level, and I'm also interested in a breakout above 9. You get into that $9 area, all of a sudden you're looking at 10 in the face. And, 10 could be a very receptive area, especially, quickly. I don't want to use that word transitory again because everybody gets allergies every time I use it, but you know what I mean, right? Like you get into that level, you don't hang out for all that long at 10. So number one could be a scalp trade. Number two, use some resting orders so you can make sure you get the fills, Joey.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, guys, let's see if we can get this move higher. Tesla hitting the high of the day, and we're starting to get a little bit of a bounce off of VWAP here. Maybe we avoid NVDA at this point. When I'm proven wrong, unfortunately, I will be giving back the majority of my daily profits, maybe and then some. But I think that we can get somewhat of a rebound here back into VWAP. We just need to be patient with it. And what I'm looking at specifically is the buying pressure within these candles. So you can see the 5-minute boom, boom. We're starting to pick up a little bit. There's DRAM. This thing's going to take an additional leg higher. Why aren't I just going long this name? Why am I making my life
wrong, Joey?
And not just trading DRAM here off of these levels? Because it's a clear buy program. There were some indecision prints off the highs, but they're just getting beat every time. Like, people are just buying, buying, buying. All right, a nice little uptick there in NVDA. You can see the pullback. And guys, I think it's really important to know, look at the strength within the selling pressure here, and then you have an engulfing print. I'm not going to say that this is going to be remain the pattern, but hey, it's a positive sign of strength, and that's some things that we're looking for. Same thing here with the Nasdaq. Buying pressure, buying pressure, buying pressure. Start to form a base, and then maybe we can continue to climb. Look at Tesla go, new high of the day. And where are we from a daily? Not bad, right? So if we get a couple of strong sessions, at some point, I think we can break through this key pivot level that we rejected at 454. It's going to be really, really key on where we head next, right? And then also there's another name that's not coming to mind that has been lagging.
Which
one?
It's
looking to play a little bit. I'm forgetting it. It's crazy how the brain works. You know that you're forgetting something, but you don't know exactly what you're forgetting. So the triple Qs, we like this as we hit into all-time highs. My cousin was actually messaged me on the weekend what to buy. I'm like, dude, listen. You're 20-something years old.
Yeah.
You have an eternity. You just go with the NAS and the SPY. Looking to establish and just continuously buy that until the end of your days. And by the time that you're my age, who knows what you'll have in the bank account, right? We're not going to get too complicated and
old
stuff.
or something, bro.
40,
like
33,
yeah.
33, man.
What is he interested in terms of sectors and stuff like that?
He's not well informed like that, right? He's just like a young kid who has a little bit of cash on the side and looking to deploy it. I said, this is what you do, but you have to do your own due diligence, right?
Yeah.
Because and that's what everybody was saying. Like, everybody's like, well, Joe, why don't you do this for me? Why don't you do that for me? I'm like, you don't understand what I've been in this game for 5 years. I had to learn everything myself. And you know the saying, Sharif,
yes, sir.
Give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime.
Not true.
Right? So it's just so much easier that way. Like, go and do some homework, come back to me, and then we can talk about it.
Well said. Well said. All right, lots moving here. Let's start with the good news. The good news is BIYA just got back in the day's high at 85. Now, the bad news is it didn't continue above that previous high of day. We've got 75. I'm looking for continuation. CODX right back into my entry. Let's see if this fills my dip trades. There seems to be a buyer in and around the fifth of a dollar, hence why my trades are not getting filled. That's interesting. Look at this buyer at 20, 19, 20. These high teen, low 20 areas. So here's the deal. Going to cancel these dip trades. Let's go ahead. We're going to punch, and we're going to put the same stop that we put last time. If it loses 8, it loses 8. It's that simple. So how many shares we have here? Good. So we're going to go down. Let's go like that and do just that. Good. Already in the money on this latest trade, a latest ad. Let's wet the beak, and let's put some profit takers just south of that $0.50 and then north of the $0.50 as well. I'm going to put 2/3-ish. There always seems to be a seller around 63, but my thinking is, at least the way that Adam was explaining, keep an eye on the 15 on this one. It looks pretty good if it can take out some levels there on the 15. Here comes again, seller at 40 locally here. A lot of bottoming tail candles, all of which do breach that 8.5, 8.25 level, looking for continuation back into the high side on this one. But I also want to mention the do. Yes, SIDU, it's back. It's not up big, but it looks pretty good. 17% or thereabouts in the Ville of Green, through $6, I should say, showing $5.98 now. Nary a red candle in the 5. In fact, the last time this printed a red candle was about 30 into $6. So keep an eye here on the do, SIDU, you know, a perennial, participant in the world of small cap gappers here, at least on the middays. So SIDU should be in focus here. for you guys. Bovin saying MWC, new high of day. I'm looking right at it, Bovin. It keeps ripping. MWC could see $8 pretty shortly here. It's at $7.75 right now as an area resistance. I also want to mention the one that Bovin was talking about, BRAI. So I want to get you guys ready for the possible short on this, okay? If you guys can find shorts on BRAI, they're not easy to locate on my platform. I'm not talking about real trading, my work platform. I'm talking to my own personal platform here. They're not easy to find. Why am I talking about this one? Because it's doing that typical setup that we've been talking about so much, a symphony of lower highs, and then it tries to break out from the symphony of lower highs, only to lure in the longs as a bull trap. What it ends up doing is it puts in a lower high and then will fail the prior bar low. You need to be ready with locates to take advantage of that. So you got to wait for a decided break below this lower trend line, typically 17, maybe 17.5, really depending on where the price is trading, and then wait for the breakout candle to be breached by the subsequent candle, and you're looking for the breakout candle low to be breached. So say it gets to 17, it has a low of 1650, you're waiting for that 1650 area breach on that one. So be on the lookout here. BRYA could be a gnarly short. We're gonna have to keep a close eye on this one. But here goes BIYA again. I've barely taken anything out, holding 99% of the position. I don't know if it's 99. I'm holding the great majority of the position, okay? So I'm looking for a big move up. I'm looking for 92s here, 91 or 92, which would obviously require a high day break, but I'm fine with that. We're gonna pack the patience. We're gonna see what we get. Jay Lee says MWC was over $12 last week, FYI, squeezed pre-market, but pulled back all week until this morning. In my humble opinion, it could see $10+ today. Jay, I know it's a crazy world. When you start telling me about small cap gappers, Jay Lee, usually you're all over the world of like large caps and you're all about the TQQs as well. You should be. You're quite good at trading them. But I'm just surprised to see you commenting here about some small cap gappers, but much to my delight, quite frankly. CODX, I don't know how I feel about this one, Adam. I'm gonna give it to 8. Let's see what this one does. Loses 8, it loses me as a trader here, Joey. Continuing to watch CODX.
Let's send things over to Adair, guys.
Oh, I didn't even know we were supposed to go.
That's all right.
Keep an eye here on USO, guys. As he's leaving India, I guess some comments are being made to reporters by U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, saying that negotiations with Iran to extend the ceasefire and reopen the Strait of Hormuz will take several more days. He's saying this has to do with some unresolved wording in the draft agreement, saying the U.S. insists the waterway remain fully open. He also said President Trump does not want to make a bad deal. So some comments here coming on the feasibility and timeline here with this deal from U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. This being reported by Associated Press. Again, guys, several more days is the timeline he's giving. Here is Bitcoin. Now, BTC talked a lot last week about that 76,000 level of support. We broke through that Friday. End of the day here, Friday, it looks like we closed at that level. Then Saturday, pushing a little bit lower here to an intraday low of 74,000 again on Saturday, before recovering on for the rest of the day Saturday and then Sunday and Monday. This long weekend, though, ending with a jolt to the downside, rejecting that 78,000 level, which came into play as some resistance going back to Thursday as well. Right now, trading around 76.3. Now, we mentioned 76 as that level of support and resistance. Let's see if 76 comes into play today. I do want to mention here a story on MSTR. They slashed their cash reserves here by 61% to repurchase $1.5 billion worth of debt. They now have $871 million in cash aside. That's a $1.38 billion drawdown, according to this announcement. Previously, they had $2.25 billion here earmarked cash and reserves. So interesting look there for MSTR or strategy. Also hearing from the Israeli military, seeing reports that they're announcing larger ground operations in southern Lebanon. So unfortunately, this conflict just continues to wage on. Back to you.
Yeah, so let me just cover this. Stopped out of CODX as it did wick below $8. So we'll give back a little bit on that trade. But I'm very interested to see what it does because right now it's got a lot of lower highs here. So this is a bit of a trouble. So keep your eye out here on CODX, but it does find a lot of support in and around $8. What I would say is if you're looking for that kind of confirmation that the trend has changed, look for a prior bar high breach. You're not quite getting that yet. In fact, it's been a symphony of lower highs since the 11:15 candle, pardon me. So I'm definitely keeping a close eye on that. But BIYA just got into 89s. It's showing 87s. Didn't quite fill me at 91, but I'm really packing the patience over here. Thank you very much, Lele. Leandra, happy birthday. I appreciate you. Leandra F-Jet, what are your thoughts? Absolutely. That one is a holdover from last week, if my memory serves me right. Let's see what it's up to today, F-Jet. So, feels very flat bottom breakish, Lele. In fact, it feels like there is that 705 buyer, give or take, and it's almost the opposite of that bullish pattern we talk about, right? An ascending wedge pattern where we get higher lows with that flat top. This is the exact opposite. You're getting lower highs with a flat bottom in and around 705. So I don't know how you feel, Lele. This one, if it loses $7, it could, it could make its way down into this area low. I want to say low 80s, maybe 675. That's an area to look out. That's a Friday area low that it bounced off VWAP up. What a clean hold off VWAP up. And then it ripped. I didn't even know this. In the aftermarket, it was all sorts of strong. For all the degens who stayed after the bell on Friday, they were all well rewarded. Anyway, this one broke 850. I wouldn't be so quick to want to short this, but it's screaming short right now, at least for me. So shout out to Lele. I appreciate you. And we're going to keep an eye out on BIYA. I'm involved in that one, Joey, rejecting 190, though coming back in a little bit.
Good stuff, guys. All right, so we continue to we're inching higher, and then you have these strong candles. I was just going to get all out at 106.30 and just take it for it was, but then it just flushed, right? So there's something going on, man. There's a lot of sellers still engaged with this name, considering what we're seeing in some of the other mega cap tech names is that it's a complete buy program. So as soon as we breach this, it's probably best for me to get out of this trade. I mean, I thought we'd have the opportunity to head at least somewhat closer to the volume-weighted average price, maybe even into 106.54. But we have heavy engagement to the downside right now. There's DRAM, guys. We'll zoom out a little bit. And then Gaurav and I were both looking at this specific signal here on the Nasdaq, on the TQQQs. So what we have here is just a steady downtrend. Once we have a 5-minute candle open up on the backside of this trend, I think that'll give us a good opportunity for us to get involved with it. Whether it works or not, that'll be a completely different story. But it's this bloke right here, Sharif, as the English would say. Bloke? Bloke. You know what I mean? You see what I'm...
It's okay. You bottled that one.
I did. Did I? Oh, is that that's what they say over there as well, too, man?
Screwed it up. You bottled it.
Oh, my days,
right?
man. I got to get back on the graft, that's for sure.
You know what? They used to call Arsenal the bottlers.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, now we're holding the bottle.
Oh, don't leave me hanging.
There it is.
Oh, man. I'm congratulations for you.
Yeah,
I'm happy, man. It must feel good to have a championship team.
Yeah, it does. It took a minute,
yeah,
bro.
It took a
I've been
minute,
supporting
man.
this team since 08, dog.
That's good.
And you get relentless hate from your buddies, the people who support United, the people who support Liverpool.
It's hard over there, man.
Gonna kneel over there,
It's crazy because everything's it's in the same country. It's like I feel like it's such a close radius. Like you said, there's a couple stadiums that are just like a kilometer away.
These are not like BMO Field type stadiums.
Yeah, no, these are
world class stadiums, like 1 kilometer apart.
Coliseums.
Yeah, no, but they are.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that's the truth, and that's just a kind of. That's the kind of craziness in England, man. That's just the way it is.
Yeah,
I
like that, man. It creates rivalries, and that's what you want. When I mean it sucks to suck, like here it is, NVDA. If it breaks this support level, we're just going to have to get out of dodge on it and stop trying to look for those aggressive buying situations that we're just currently not getting right now. There's DRAM still holding up. And then now we're starting to form a little more prints that I like here on the 5-minute here on the TQQQs, which can show some signs of strength. Especially if this gets going, man, it's going to help lift this up. And then you head over to some of the other names that have been strong throughout the session here. Tesla now back at the volume-weighted average price. But it seems like buyers want to engage on today's session, right? Like NVDA on the daily not looking that good. Apple hit that all-time high here this morning. Softy not doing too much. And then we have Amazon that's now about like 3.5% or 5.5% off of its all-time high. right? So there's going to be some good opportunities to get involved. How's ASML been performing all-time high not too long ago? So, I mean, man, we're in a complete industrial revolution right now, guys. Whether you like it or not, we have to try and take advantage of this. CrowdStrike up to 677. Holy cow, man. And Sharif and I were talking, like, the fall from grace is probably going to be absolutely hectic at
all of
point,
them. It's
but
just
yeah,
not that one.
Yeah, man. Like, again, how many times have we talked about this? It's just some of these moves are just, it's fun while it lasts, but then when the narrative changes, it's like, hey, man, it's sunny every single day, it seems like, in some of these memory plays and some of this other chip trade. But then when it starts to rain a little bit, be careful for the pouring, because people are going to get really upset, and you're going to see people who have made a lot of money also lose a lot of money, because you get into the mentality that, hey, things can only go up, and you forget what can happen on the opposite side of things. It may not happen tomorrow. It may not happen a couple of months from now, but believe one day, unfortunately, it will happen.
It will,
and I bet my bottom dollar on it.
It will, man. It will. I'm watching MWC. It's ripping up, man. It's a spready one, though, so I had to stay away from this one. It was about 25 pennies when I started watching it, around 7.5. It's tightened up substantially now to around 6 pennies, 7 on the ask, 1 on the bid. Good look here for MWC, but so is CPSH. Good call out by Bovin. CPSH on the way to that 10.5. There's a lot of resistance at 10.5. You have that topping tail candle at 1020, which got to 1082, but all the closing prints south of 10.5. So watch out for resistance there. It could be a bit of a problem clearing through that decisively, rather than just, on a wick basis. But CPSH looking real good here, up about 75%, and looking to do some more damage, quite frankly, and good volume on it. Spread is reasonable, 3 pennies tightening up here, well, 4 pennies, 3 pennies back and forth. It's a lot better than what I saw on MWC, to be fair. So keeping an eye out on that one as well. I'm also keeping an eye here on CODX. It's got a prolonged downtrend, but there seems to be a lot of buyers at $8. But for the moment, the sellers stronger than the buyers. But the buyers are pretty much showing their hand here with that $8 multiple bottoming tail candles through 8. So something to be on the lookout for. CPSH, I'm not really sure how to execute on this, Bovin. It really does come down to what happens here at 10.5, and you're already seeing resistance show up again at 10.5 here. Coming back down to 10 1/5. It's about to lose 20. Here's mid-teens. So do we pick it up off 10? I mean, I didn't see a whole lot of support or resistance at 10. I see a lot of price action going through 10, but not much in the way of anything solid. It's a hold off 10, says Bovin. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. Being the $10 level, the whole dollar level, a lot of levels there. So keeping an eye on that. Also keeping an eye on MWC, which is putting in a topping tail candle now through 8. Spready name, but be careful with it. CODX, no breakout there yet. And BIYA, come on, bro. We were nicely in the money on this one, almost up to 90. Now we're back like 3 or 5 pennies in the money here, depending on whether you're looking at the bid or the ask. So BIYA, not quite making it up to $2. I had a bit of a bias. This one worked into 2. It doesn't look like it's going to work out that way at the moment. So it looks like it's just CPSH and MWC's world, and we're just all living in it here. It's just a matter of how I execute. Let's not forget about the DO as well, SIDU. Possible opportunity to get in here on SIDU, because reject $6, double top through 6, coming down now, possibly into 575, where the 10 EMA on the 5 is waiting for it. So $575 could be a pickup on SIDU. We'll see. The philanthropist Baker, Sharif, Joe, TTV. Oh, tomorrow, a red day after this massive run-up. Typically, we'll see. There is profit taking, obviously, concerns that we have to think about, especially with the market running up so much. But there's also the other side of the coin is there could be a deal struck between the United States and Iran anytime. Who knows when that actually manifests or what kind of deal they'll get. The temporary nature of the deal. It could be a 30-day opening of the Strait of Hormuz, and then, possibly waiting for a full negotiated settlement there. We'll have to wait and see, Randy. So Randy's going to give me this look. I don't know what's going on there. But hey, what did you think about that Ferrari? Come over. Come over. I want you to
too.
crap on the Ferrari like I crapped on it this morning too. What a hideous vehicle.
I didn't mind it, to be honest with you.
Well, okay. Let's go, Randy. What are your thoughts on this?
Are we on?
Is he good? So just before you rip into it, what I was saying to Neil in the morning, what caught my attention was that everybody's fast in the world of EVs. You got Xiaomi the Xiaomi SU7,
yeah.
fastest production car in the world, right? It can jump using its air suspension. It can do all these things. So what's Ferrari's DNA in a new world of electric vehicles? Are they just going to stick to being fast? Because everybody can do that now.
Here's the challenge.
Let's hear it.
Ferrari, and if you've ever driven, I've only driven a Ferrari once, but these cars have soul. These cars have a pedigree. They have a legacy. They have a sound. They have a feeling, much like Porsche and Lamborghini and, the exotics out there. I don't see how you can embrace a purely electric platform with fake noises coming out of a fake exhaust and all the rest of it.
They're putting fake noises in that thing? No way. Are they actually?
It's been rumored. It hasn't been confirmed. Here's the thing. If you're a pedigreed, historied company like Ferrari, how do you move into this space and keep that, that legacy? Yeah, it's difficult. Look at Jaguar.
Same problem.
It's the same issue. So I don't know. How do you create that emotion from a box with an electric motor in it?
Well, that's the other thing.
So you don't have the roar of a V12.
It doesn't lend itself.
Yeah, you're
to
right,
having,
and it doesn't have that, that soul. I'm going to call it soul. I don't understand how it is they can hand Johnny Ive a contract to okay, it's ugly. Is it a Ferrari-esque? No. But is it a new chapter for Ferrari? Maybe. Yeah. Will this go to production and sell like hotcakes? Maybe not.
I don't know, man. I can see like these European like aristocrats who are like so, environment this, environment that, shelling a few bucks for it. I can't see it having a big market here.
I don't. I agree with you. I don't see it, but at some point you look at these exotics with, again, the storied histories, the racing heritage behind them. What do they do as electrics become mainstream? How do they move into this space and still be relevant? And I think it's going to be a huge challenge. There's car companies like that. Koenigsegg has done it. Like there's cars that have moved into that space that are hybrids. They're there, but it's not the same. It's not the cars of the 70s where we had the racing heritage, Le Mans, and all the rest. It's not there anymore. No. So I don't know. To be in Ferrari's position right now is not an enviable place to be. I don't think.
And I already know that they had that gas/hybrid, but I would have focused a lot more on that if I was Ferrari. Reason being, right? You have one foot in the new era, the new door, so to speak. You got a foot in the old one.
You've got the bridge, yeah.
You've got the bridge, right? You can keep the same engine noise. You have that personality that comes with an ICE engine, which doesn't come with an electric engine. But you get that crazy ass torque off the line.
You get that screaming RPM out of the gas engine.
Exactly.
It's got the noise, the sound. Yeah.
And it doesn't look like that.
Well, I have a lot of respect for Johnny Ive as an industrial designer. His work at Apple and elsewhere, but I don't see this as going well for.
Quit while he was on top.
But what's Race doing today anyway?
It was getting clipped in the morning. Let's see where it's at right now. Probably got bought up a little bit. No, down 5 1/4, man. It's at the day low right now. I mean, it's not a good look. And you and I talked about Ferrari and the fact that. It's sort of like a Rolex environment where you're going in trying to pick up the best model.
Yep.
And that doesn't happen unless you're 2-3 models deep with the company. And the fact that they're offering you an expensive model from the get-go speaks to where the company is currently.
Yeah, it's a little challenging to say the least. Anyway,
I'm not happy about it, Randy.
Keep me posted.
Yeah, keep us posted, Randy, because Randy is the resident car guy. Looking for anything car-related, you need to bounce it off this gentleman right here, Randy. All right, continuing to watch CODX, a lot of buying at 8. It's not breaking out quite yet. I have a breakout trade looking here for this one, but it's got to get above the right level. We'll see what this one does. But Certainly interested in getting back into CODX. There's a lot moving, though. You still have CPSH here above in that is holding up above 10 bucks, which is not a bad look. It was preceded by a doji candle. Now, it did breach a doji candle. Current bar low on the CPSH trade is 10.07. Here comes 10.10. You could give it to 10. There does seem to be buyers in and around that level. Separately, MWC continues to rip into the highs right around 8 bucks. A lot of resistance here at 8, but it does feel like it's bull flagging a little bit. I'm just kind of made a little bit concerned here on MWC by the 2 topping tail candles on the preceding 5-minute candles here. So something to look out for there. Jack CW says GOVX could do what CODX is doing this week for Ebola news. We saw GovX ripping last week, man. I traded it multiple times. Lele, I hope you took that FJet short, like you and I talked about there, because that flat bottom break came in spades. I think you would have been 30 pennies in the money if you took that. Look at that flat bottom break on FJet. Now it's down 5.25. But let's look at GovX. Yeah, this one is also feeling flat bottom breakish, Jack CW. It's almost the same look that we saw there on FJet. It's a symphony of lower highs with an area bottom that keeps getting bought up. It looks to be 3 1/5, 320 area. But, you know, the wicks do go down to 310, but the closing prints all defend 320. So this is the chart on GOVX. This also feels like a bit of a short here, Joey. So for those who are small cap gappers short inclined, like the OG Luis Barbado, well, then get your locates ready, baby, because this one feels like it might be a little bit top heavy here.
All right, man. So we're going to get out of the TQs here momentarily. This downtrend is just fully intact, and thought we'd get somewhat of a breach here at the volume-weighted average price as buyers. We're looking to step back in, but we have Broadcom and a lot of the heavy hitters starting to sell aggressively. Meta starting to find somewhat of a bounce, but you don't want to hold this too far against you, right? Because then your risk to reward is just like, hey, what do we got going on? So 30 cents. We're out at 80.80s, and that'll be it for the potential long until we have an actual breach of the trend, which will be all the way up here. So yeah, TQs at 79 is a long. Yeah, we're out of this trade right now. It's just continuously bleeding right now. A big turnaround in the overall market. So we were strong in the first half. We give back most of our day, and then some here on NVDA. Should just held off to that one. But hey, it is what it is. We'll find some more opportunities. If not, then you know what I'm going to say. There's always going to be plenty of more another day. So here it is, consecutive selling. You give back that run up here today. Could have been some form of a liquidity grab. Now you got profit taking starting to step right back into the market. How has IBIT been performing? We took our stabs here on NVDL, so there's no more, like there's clearly a sell program and sellers are heavily engaged within this. So there's no point in me trying to go against the tide here and find a long in it. They did work a couple of times earlier in the day when the market was somewhat strong. But as soon as the weakness stepped in, you can see it most definitely displayed right here. IBIT, how have you been performing? We mentioned before that where we're sitting on from a daily is important, right? Like we've experienced that pullback. Now, how are buyers going to engage? And it's not looking good. There's a support level at 42.70, and if that breaks, I'm going to just say it right now. We're going to head right back into this lower end of the range, and we might even break the low and see some yearly lows here in Bitcoin. Just due to the fact you're not having participants step right back in the trade. This isn't the trade right now, right? Like, if we're talking about the crypto space, I understand that there's a couple positive catalysts for it, whether it be PDT rule, Clarity Act, Genius Act. There's just so much better things going on right now, and it's DRAM. Like DRAM's there. You have MU continuing to climb. So there's no point in fighting it and giving ourselves a headache when we can try to get involved. But then you're like, hey, Joe, what am I even supposed to do here? And I'm asking myself this question. Are you buying MU all the way up here? Are you buying SanDisk all the way up here? Probably not. So you're just kind of stuck sitting on your hands waiting for something to come into play or something that has been lagging and decides that it wants to catch up to the overall market. Now you're at 213 and change here on this name. This is insane. Like, you're already down 10% off your highs in the span of a couple of sessions here on NVDA after that breakout. we're like, hey, what's going on with AMD? Like, this thing is running the show right now. And then you flip over to its, I guess, its bigger brother here, and it's not doing anything. It's sucking, right? So that's usually how it works. The youth, Sharif, the younger brother is typically the better athlete, in my opinion. And we've been seeing that as of late here in AMD as the market is really starting to bleed. I'm glad that we got out of those trades now, guys.
It's hard to believe how many companies closing in or at a trillion valuation now, man. Yeah, man. It's like it's not even a big thing anymore.
It's not, and that's what I was saying. It's not as exclusive as it once was, right?
Really not, right?
So, like, what is that next club? That is it going to be like the $10 trillion club? Like, you know what I mean?
We scoff at some of the valuations that Elon includes in some of his compensation packages. Like, oh, can't get there.
You can't get that trillion.
Can't it? We'll see.
Right? Like with what's his data center segment called again there?
EWS?
Yeah.
It's a joke. Yeah,
I know. But he is doing that, right? Because he doesn't have that much demand for grok. So
not only is he doing that with terrestrial data centers, but wait until he starts putting the data centers in space. He doesn't shut the hell up about that, right?
Well, I mean, he's like, hey, man, look what we can do. You get free energy, free cooling.
Well, there you go, right? We'll have to see how that all works out. Obviously, an unproven concept.
He's a visionary. We know that. Is everything that he thinks of going to come to fruition? No, but what does?
I'll take the shot.
Exactly, dude. He would not. He's done it. And if anybody has the cash, the richest man on the planet,
he's going to have.
He's going to do it. And if he figures it out, well, guess what? He's even richer after that point.
Right, straight up. All right, continuing to watch here, guys. Doing okay here on BIYA. It's holding trend, and by holding trend, I mean it's holding higher lows, but it's got a flat top of sorts at around 185 to 190. And what I say of sorts is because, well, you know, it does wick above at times. It does look like the majority of the selling comes in at 185. Now, I don't want to be quick to say, you know, it's just a matter of time till we get that flat top break. I feel like it is market dependent, and that was my observation last week because we had a lot of ascending wedge patterns last week with possible flat top breaks. Very few of them manifested, and that was because, you know, sometimes the market was a little weak, so even though sometimes these small cap gappers, they march to the beat of their own drum, oftentimes I do see, you know, sentiment is tempered somewhat by overall market moves. So we'll continue to watch that. I want to see what MWC has to offer. I got in super tight here. I got in at 41, stopped out at 33. I didn't want to give this one any room at MWC, but it does feel like it might be trying to work back above 7.5. If that's the case, I'm interested. I'm holding CPSH for a $10 hold. It is zigging and zagging here, sometimes above 20, sometimes a little bit below. It does seem like there is a $10 buyer at that level. We'll have to wait and see. Popping back off into the mid-teens now. CODX, this one is possibly on a breakout here. It just breached prior bar high, right? A prolonged downtrend here on CODX. CODX, basically putting in lower highs since the 1115 bar. That gets broken here with the 1155 bar breaking above the 1150 bar. So be on the lookout here. CODX, I've got a breakout trade that I like. I'm going to let that one manifest. I don't want to get in here, quite frankly. I want to see if we can take out some of the more staunchy sellers that could be between here and my breakout level. So CODX certainly in focus, but by no means guaranteed. The philanthropist breaker, Sharif, Joe, what are your thoughts on TTD? Company looks great fundamental-wise. Do you think it has been beat down enough? And $22 is a good entry price for the stock. Have a look at what Trade Desk is up to. Bring in the side chart over here so I can just monitor my positions. TTD. Let's flip, as we always do, to the weekly on this one. Oh, boy. Yeah, well, you know, a lot of these have been hit lately with the whole software Armageddon thing, but, you know, this is the weekly, by the way, okay? So when's the last time? Let me just adjust this stupid split candle over here. Remove bar. There we go. Okay, so we're below a lot of support levels. The only thing that's kind of holding us afloat here is the COVID era low. That is, of course, the March 2020 low, the low of which there is 1360. It does look like we're finding some support here at $20 and have been for the past period of days. Okay, I got to interrupt, because I got the breakout here trading CODX, is going to have to continue above the $0.50. Here's 69. Let's see if we can kind of get a beak wetter up there. Let's put something in the 70s as well. This is not a guaranteed trade at all, guys, because we've been talking a lot about these breakout trades. You know, that they trend down for a long time, then they put in a higher high, only to end up making a lower high. So here it comes. There's 69, there's 71. We have 55s on. That was my breakout trade. Huge seller at 71. There's 82. It just ripped into $9. What a move here for CODX. We're still holding the majority of the position. Here comes 9. There's a huge seller here at 9. Let's wet the beak right there. We're still holding on the decks. We're looking for more now, baby. $9 resistance with a lot of accumulation. Watch what a drop. Into 2/3 it goes, but it gets bought up quick as you like. Continuing to look at the bid, not even looking at the ask, looking to see who's stepping in here. Who's crazy enough to buy at the levels? 90 showing up. We probably behooves me to put something at the 905, Joey. We got to pay homage to the Toronto area. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, that's one of the major area codes over here. So sometimes when you refer to 905, you're talking about the suburbs in and around Toronto. So a lot of homage to be paid to that number. Continue. Yeah, you used to have a 905 number, didn't you?
I still do.
You still have the 905 number?
That's more.
We wouldn't have been friends before because I would have had to dial 1.
Yeah, but now you don't have to dial 1. So that's why we're friends.
That's from Seinfeld, by the way. Lade met this guy, and he was like, he's like right down her alley, right? She was like, he's a good guy, he's good looking, he's this, that, and the other. Then she gives him her number.
Oh, it has to dial 1.
It's a new area code. Back in the day, they had to dial 1. So he's like, kind of seeing somebody right now. But there goes CODX into another area high, Neil. You remember, the episode I'm talking about, right? Man. In the high goes the DEX, repping through 9. Let's see if
on the DEX.
On the DEX, yeah. We're gonna watch this one to see what it does here, Joey. Are we going to Adara for happening now? And sorry, guys, Assassino, I don't know what it is today. I haven't heard you once, so I do apologize, but we're going to Adara for happening now, then Neil has his lesson of the day.
S&P 500 still very much green on the session as of right now, holding up above last session or Friday's highs here. We'll take a look at the Nasdaq. So Nasdaq, same look. Both of these, it's worth noting, have come down pretty far from their session or intraday highs, but still holding up above levels of resistance from the prior session. Now, it's worth noting here, guys, we'll look at oil in a second, but these headlines here in the Middle East are still going to be moving the market and are going to be of watch. Associated Press reporting that Marco Rubio, Secretary of State of the U.S., has said that deal talks with Iran will take several more days. President Trump doesn't want to make a bad deal, and the U.S. doesn't want a deal where they have to cede control of the Strait of Hormuz or to Iran or give Iran full control of the Strait. They do not want that. They want open passage. That's a concern here. As you can see, USO's kind of slightly been stepping up throughout the session. The other thing I want to mention here in terms of stories, we had this pop down that ended up kind of with this bottoming tail candle here at 136.50 on USO, around 1035, 1036. That came as we had reports from the Wall Street Journal suggesting that the Project Freedom operation was going to resume and the U.S. Navy was going to resume guiding ships through Strait of Hormuz. About a half an hour later, reports came out saying that's false. That is not going to be happening. So lots of back and forth. Do be careful, guys. I will be giving you guys every headline that moves the market over here from this desk. Speaking of moving the market, MU, Micron, this did briefly exceed a $1 trillion market cap. I checked before this segment, this was before this most recent pop, it was around $985 billion. So either way here, Micron hanging around that $1 trillion market cap level. We did have a massive price target increase from roughly $535 all the way up to $1,625 from UBS, so tripling their price target to a street high there for MU. Micron, of course, has made new all-time highs just above $890. For what it's worth, SanDisk made new all-time highs today as well, and this whole sector has been incredibly strong. Zscaler earnings after the bell. We did have, looks like sales beat and EPS beat last quarter. Let's see if they can do that again today. This infographic out very soon on X at TTV Research. But you know what's not very soon? It's actually right now. It's Neil and his lesson of the day. So Neil, what do you have in store for the people?
I have a little fun. I have a little fun for you guys here because I want to talk about not looking in the rearview mirror. But to illustrate the point, I was trying to find a clip, but I don't know if I caught this. I got really lucky yesterday. The day, like it's a holiday, right? So I had the day off because Memorial Day, and it just so happened to be like the track day. My daughter's school. Some kids got selected to be able to do the track day. The important thing, she was doing the 800 meters for the first time in her life. She had to run like a 50-meter sprint. They did like this weird javelin thing where it was like it was like this Nerf javelin that they threw. She did amazing. She outthrew the boys, which I was pretty proud of. She did a standing broad jump. But the 800, she's all worried about like her pacing and all of this. I'm going to show you, because hopefully, what you can't really see is like second place in the back. And I'll get to that in a quick little second. But this is what you should be doing when you're running down the final stretch. See how she's not turning her head and not looking back to see where everyone else is? Well, what I can tell you with 100% certainty is before that, my daughter was checking behind her on like around the curve in the final lap. On the back straightaway, she's doing this and looking back for the on the final curve. She's looking back. I said, Aaron, you look back. You look back like 10 times in the final lap. I'm proud of you in the final stretch. You just kind of were going for it. You're tired and everything, but every time you look back, you're slowing yourself down. You want to stay focused, right? Like it's not like a showboating thing. It's like where is second place? Like that kind of a thing. And I think in trading, the notion of looking back is something that it's great to do. You're going to journal. You're going to go over your trades. You're going to review. You're going to look at maybe in the middle of the day, like what could I have done differently, or what did I learn from the markets, whatever it might be. But in the moment, you can't really do that because you could be missing out on opportunities. So the reason I brought that up was I came in today looking long on Tesla, right? And started the day, breakout trade on Tesla, and then, okay, well, the breakout only goes like a buck half, then immediately reverses. I'm like, okay, so false break on Tesla. Let's look for the dip by long. Dip by long kind of curls back in, gives you a bit of a trend break, busts VWAP, runs out of steam at 432. At that point, I'm looking at this, I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, we're just putting in lower highs. Eventually, it does take a turn, but that's like 10:30. It's like an hour, almost like an hour into the market. There's this whole point where this no longer looks like a long. All right, well, I can sit there and be like, yeah, Tesla was great. Tesla's my best stock. Or you can sort of get to work finding something else. Now, I liked the market eventually turned into a short. You can see the moment at which I got back to Uber. So see how that's about 10 o'clock. And then you look at Tesla here. Like this was 9:40 into almost 10 o'clock. Like this is the point where like, okay, now Tesla's not really doing what I want anymore as a long. If I think we're coming in, what was the short play that I liked? I just move on to the next thing. Forget about looking back. Forget about celebrating or whatever it might be. Look for the next opportunity. And at that moment, it was looking for that short trade. And that's what also led me to, and this is fortunate, like what led me to MSTR. Because I had gone from one to the next, and I wasn't sort of bogged down only looking at one or two stocks, we're able to see something that happened in Bitcoin, which, by the way, went absolutely ham. You can see the volume increase here in the middle of the day. Usually you get a lot at the open. You can see the volume increase to the upside. Just a clean trend break trade. I went over to MSTR because I felt like it had a much cleaner trend break all the way from the open and not just a parabolic volume move on Bitcoin. So I was playing something a little more traditional. Ultimately, it bounces off VWAP and continues lower. That wasn't really the trade. It's just about the fact that you are looking for what is next. And speaking for myself here, what I've found, at least this year, and what's certainly ending up being true, is keeping the head on the swivel and looking for the next trading opportunity instead of just solely being focused on certain symbols. I find us just being like, oh, this is the stock I'm trading. If it's not doing what I want, I'm gonna keep trying something until it eventually works, or I'm gonna keep trying to trade this one thing. I see that lead to so much trouble that it's just a lot easier sometimes to not worry about that stock that you were planning on, to not worry about looking at the past, to focus on the next available opportunity. And if it happens to be somewhere else, that's fine. right? You've got to keep your eyes focused. You come up to bat and you're sitting fastball and you get like 3 curves in a row. Are you just going to stand there and watch them? Strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. You're going to make the adjustment. Because sometimes the market's going to throw you a curveball and it's going to keep throwing you curves, and you can either adjust or you can sit back down. So oftentimes, I can frame it as patience in terms of looking for the best opportunity, but it's also not being married to the past, which a lot of times in our preparation is, this is what I wanted to trade, this is what I wanted to look at, this is what I expected to happen, so I'm really only focused on that. Because opportunity will be everywhere in the markets. But if something is not going to your expectations, to your plan, it's best sometimes to just get away from it, whether you won it on it or lost. If it's not there, go find something that is. Forcing trades absolutely crushes people, and you don't want to be that person looking in the past or looking in the wrong spot. Focused on what is in front of you. Focus on the task at hand. When you're trading, you got one job. Your job is to make money. I can't tell you how many times I'll be sitting there in the chat. It's like I'll get in and out of, and I can't even make this up, right? Like I get in and out of Tesla on the breakout trade, so that looked good. If we can just come to the chart for a second, this is the last time I'll go to the chart. We'll get in and out of the Tesla trade, and then I'll get in and out in just a matter of minutes, right? Like catch the top, catch the turn each time, get a couple of successful trades. Then I'll see in the chat, oh, Neil's boring. Neil's not in any trades. Yeah, because that's not my style. And you have to worry about like what ends up working for you. And at the end of the day, you only can do that. And I've always found too, and this is about 199% true. If in 20 years, or whatever, how long it's been, because it's like 2003, so I guess we're getting on a quarter century at some point here, coming up. In all of that time, what I have found is the most consistent traders are often the most boring. In that you will see them doing variations of the same theme a lot, because it's what works for them. And you will see them get in, get out, just get it. Get the money and get out. Almost all of the best trades, and this is just dead truth to you, that 80-20 rule, or all of the biggest trades that traders have, they tend to be hit it and quit it. Get it in when it's good, get it out and bank the profit. That's what the IPO trade does, that's what the close trade is, that's what breakout trades are. I'm telling you, I've been in this business a long time, that tends to be, at least from the prop side, how it works. But you can only do you. If you're a buy and hold and something's trending better than the other, then go flip to that because it's fitting your style. But just make sure at the end of the day that you're on the right thing at the right time. And if it ain't working, go move to something else. And if you don't find something else, fine. Maybe you only make a couple of trades in a day, or maybe you take a day off. There's nothing wrong with that. Flat is a position, and being patient and looking for ideas is part of the job description as well. You don't just spend time trading, you spend time looking for the next opportunity. That is also work as a trader, and if you want to make money as a trader, then you better be able to put in that work. I polished off this lunch was delicious, man. I already polished it off. I'm giving it a solid 8.5 without even having the salad. We had like guac to go on our little taco, whatever we were calling it, and we even had like little salsa as well. I'm not like a sour cream guy, so I didn't really use that, but absolutely delicious lunch today. Send you guys back to the midday. You got Joey options, the professor, you got a dare on the news behind. Good luck. This market hit that too, and we've already pulled back in, so I guess it couldn't hold a high.
Couple different headlines I want to mention for you guys that came out while Neil had his awesome lesson of the day, and thank you always for those informative lessons, Neil. First, Lyft CEO David Risher of An Extra Zero Must Have Slipped In fame, apparently telling Semaphore that the company is in talks with United Airlines and other corporate partners to bundle Lyft with first-class travel and corporate perks. LIFT, again here, guys, CEO talking to Semaphore about conversations with UAL and other corporate partners for first-class travel and corporate perks for Lyft. META, more layoff headlines on watch here. A warn notice, which you have to file basically as a warning for layoffs, shows that Meta's planning on laying off just under 1,400 employees in King County. I looked this up. This is apparently a very populous area of Washington State. Those layoffs to take place in July 2026. Last but not least, USAR in focus. This one pushing higher. James Altucher, who often weighs in on buyouts and potential M&A stories. He is weighing in on a possible update for this company, saying there's, quote, clear evidence that some big money movers are loading up on USAR and that a big announcement could be coming for the company. Back to you.
Good luck, good luck. All right, lots of stuff happening here, so let's get right down to work. BRAI is breaking out, and there's a lot of resistance on CODX here at 9. So I did get in at 55. We scalped up multiple times through 9. There's no continuation though, and I was looking at the tape. There seemed to be a good 9 buyer, so I did add into the highs. I added basically a third of what I added originally. So hopefully we won't give too much back here, but it doesn't look like it's going to be compliant for a break of 9. So if it loses trend, I'm out. Simple as that. We'll see how this cookie crumbles. MWC, good bottom picking here, up off the $0.50. I didn't exactly get the price I wanted, but yeah, there's CODX stopping me out for the last remaining amount. That's all right. We'll stay positive on this one. So continuing to watch MWC. Waiting for 88s. We took out 1R already through 60, which was 61 for me. Let's see what this one does. I don't want to give it too much room in the way of possible move back down, but there it is. So let's bring into the other ones that are moving. So BRAI was the one that Bovin was calling out, and this has been pretty decent. I mean, I worry again about that breakout move below the downtrend line and then end up making a lower high relative to the high of the day. So it's 1859 high a day. This candle is rejecting 17, and I feel like we could be in for a possible loss of 14.5, but it's still holding up prior bar low. I'm talking about BRAI, looking pretty decent here. BIYA, just giving me all sorts of grief over here. It's still putting in these higher lows, and so the trend is still valid, I think, through or on BIYA. But, I'm also seeing a double top in and around 185. So this one I'm running out of patience on, and I quite frankly haven't taken out almost anything. I think one profit taker holding the majority of the position. So that one is a little bit troublesome, but keep an eye on that. And I was telling Joey, SIDU, what a clean hold off the volume weighted average price. That's as clean as it gets right there, which is a price level that happened to interact with a very, very clear pre-market high. Look at this 560, I want to say 5 mid-50s areas in the pre-market, 5:30 a.m. reject, 8:10 a.m. reject, even implied balance couldn't even get through that, 10:05 area reject. And then we drop back down after breaching 6, we hold that same area. So SIDU respecting technicals, but be on the lookout there. And then TE, this has been ripping for multiple days now. A lot of great days last week for TE. There was certainly a 10-ish seller, looked like to be maybe a 10-20 seller, but this one's really ripping now on its horse and hasn't printed a red candle since the 11:35 candle here on the 5-minute chart, and it's just making new high days every time I look at it. So TE in focus here. We're going to keep a close eye on that one, Joey.
Good stuff there, guys. All right, as you can see, we're just around this break-even marker here on the Nasdaq. We're going to see on, baby, yeah, nice look. And then we're going to take a look at QUBT momentarily. And as for Luis Valencia, here it is, right? Here's Tesla. If the market gets going here, then maybe we'll start to see a little bit of a bounce. But it's just this bad boy just really, really raining on the parade today. And, I mean, we're not going to beat this one too much. Considering we've been talking about it all day, but it's just unfortunate, the high of 218, and then now you're all the way back down to 212 here on NVDA. Tesla, we talked about that, but let's pull up QUBT for our guy and head over to our options chain, which we have yet to do on today's session, and we'll also take a look at it, as I just mentioned. We're not going to talk about it too much, but we may as well see what's going on in the guts of things here. QUBT, let me pull up actually what strike price and everything, $30. Okay, you mean QBTS? Because QBTS, what is that closer to? 27? Yeah, I think that could work, right? What is your expiration strike? July 17, plenty of time. 15 options to go September and pick up $10, $30 calls. Thoughts? Man, I just believe the fact that you have the government investment now that you're going to continue to climb in this. So, I mean, if we're going to talk about putting a trade in a potentially right area, I think this could be it. Wait for maybe some more of a pullback. Don't go all in at once. And then I think at some point, considering we have a trend line break and we rejected this $31 marker on multiple occasions, you can see that you have roughly around 3 touches on that resistance zone. Be patient. If it starts to form somewhat of a base or you have a really strong session, I think that'd be a good time to get involved with it. I like this quantum play. IBM going to be receiving the bulk of that $2 billion investment with $1 billion, but the rest is going to trickle into some of the other names. Rigetti getting $100 million, I believe. QUBT's on that list. Someone was left out, and it might have been IonQ or somebody. I can't remember the name exactly, but it's not looking horrible, right? So QBTS, back to there, $30, $31. You can see there's a resistance zone. Let's pull up the actual options chain to see what we have in forms of resistance, if there's anything along those lines. There's absolutely nothing here on NVDA, but yet it can't get out of its way. So the characteristics of this stock have drastically changed from when we were seeing, hey, it makes a lot of sense with supply zones. Open interest is high. You have all of this negative gamma there. But now we're starting to see things. It's like, yeah, it doesn't even matter. There's just not very much interest. So maybe shorts and something that we can't necessarily identify here on the actual options chain itself. $30, there's a lot of open interest here that's going to be expiring this Friday, relatively speaking. But then also you have some marker up into $35. What you want to keep an eye out on is, hey, what happens after each week's expiration cycle, and if those contracts specifically roll over. $81 is acting like a brick wall defense here on the Nasdaq. We keep running into there, a couple of pennies there, but then now we're starting to head towards this shelf that we're starting to form. I don't like it. If it breaks it, then we have to get out of this trade. We're a couple pennies in the money, but let's see if we can get a bounce in NVDA.
All right, man. Did a little bit better this time on CODX. It's a tough read, but I think that there's a couple of buyers and sellers here who have done a non-perfect job of showing their hand, specifically from the sell side. There's a repeat offender at 9.15. Despite the fact that the high of the day is 9.34, it doesn't really matter. That 9.15 seller comes in multiple times, and I've been, as you can see, just using the triangles there, we've been in this. Look at the 16 seller right there, but it breaks again. And I'll watch for a possible drop. Okay, so the best print I have is the high of the day in the 34s. That wasn't by accident. That's because I had a resting order. But it doesn't seem, number one, to be able to kind of shake that seller decisively in the mid-teens. And even when they do shake that seller, he reappears. So currently above it right now on the bid and the ask, it's actually looking quite good here. Here comes 926. There's a new high of day, 37s, aggressive breakout here on CODX. 44s, here comes the move into 10. Watch out now. These are the areas where you can pick up some on the dips. Look for a hold of 9 though. Buyer in the low 30s. Dropping down the mid 30s. Sorry, low 30s now. Let's see if the selling stops. Nope, selling continuing here into the $0.25. So true to form, this one's had trouble with continuity. Yeah, see, I did take a breakout trade on this, and it was this one here. But it was because it was a really prolonged downtrend. So I don't know if the breakout trades are going to be good here. Let's continue to watch a little bit more. I just want to see where the buyers are stepping in. Right now, we've got a very staunchy buyer in the low 30s. Do we lose that level? We lose it momentarily. Into 23 we go. Let's see, do we get mid-teens here? So there's a buyer stepping in, again, low 20s. So you got a low 20 and low 30s buyer here, guys. Not bad, but still obviously a little bit of a downtrend. Flipping to the 5-second chart on the top screen. Let's just try to spot the areas of support and resistance. Zoom out a little bit. Definitely a 9-10 buyer from what I've seen before. Showing 9.25, but a bit of a downtrend. Here comes 9 1/3 again. See, so it's a 945 high, guys. Don't forget that. Good strength here, quite frankly, on CODX. Holding above at 9.4 now. Let's give this one the old try. I'm going to go in with half the shares we took last time, with the idea here being that I'm going to try to hold this for a 10 move, okay? So if we stop out, I want to say the level that I'm earmarking here is going to be 9.10. Let's go ahead and put it at 9.05. Then we do have to give it a little bit of room, right? Because that's how these ones work. So where are we in at? 31s? Okay, here comes 43. Here comes the $0.50 ripping up into area highs. Let's go ahead and wait. at 60. And I have to have some prints close to the whole dollar, right? What's the point in taking this breakout trade if we're not going to make a move into 10? So I know I'm a little bit lofty in my expectations here, but we're going to keep a close eye on that. And while you keep a close eye on that, let me tell you to another one you got to keep a close eye out on, and it goes by the ticker SIDU. SIDU's on the move here, up 18.5, just took out the day's high. It's absolutely ripping into the high right now, 609 on the DO. Keep a close eye here on CODX, Joey, SIDU. A lot of supers coming in there fast and furious, man. Love that. Let me resolve some of these trades, if that's all right, and then we'll cover the supers from Dave and the OG, Adam. I appreciate you guys, man. Just got to keep my eye here fixed on these levels. And how's my other trade doing? MWC. Oh, you're such an idiot. I took it out here. I should have let this one go. I didn't have conviction in MWC because the volume dropped off, but there it is. It took out $0.75. So be on the lookout for that, Joe.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, we'll go over a couple of these supers here, Sharif. There are just a couple of shout-outs and thanks. Dave Zamesi's saying, be careful in this market today, guys. Happy birthday, Stevie Nicks, Lenny Kravitz, and Lauryn Hill. Cough and K2 the C, still eyes on ASTS. All right, man, we'll pull that up here for you. And then we also have our boy Adam James abroad sitting on a double-decker. I wonder if you're in the city, my brother. All right, let's pull up ASTS. Shout out Ramin, because I believe this is one of her picks. Oh, yeah. $125. What a bounce off of the volume-weighted average price and continue to climb higher, man. Big-time moves in ASTS. Now, what we're going to do is $5 of chat. Our guy sitting on the double-decker bus, watching CODX with our man Sharif, Smash Bros. We break $9.50. We're going to $12, and I'm going for steak tonight. Peace either way. All right, man. Hey, what kind of steak are you getting? We need more detail. Filet mignon's the one that you want to go with. In my opinion, my humbled opinion, I don't know what kind of Sharif likes. Maybe he's a T-bone guy or the New York strip loin or something along those lines. We know all about that stuff. But let's rock and roll here in the TQQQs. This is our largest position on the day here, ladies and gentlemen. Holding up. We want to see if we can break this trend and continue to climb a little bit higher as NVDA is starting to pick up some steam. Let's go, man. Let's roll this boat. Let's hop on those double-decker buses here, Sharif, and see if we can get a little bit more of a breakout in this name. 81.30. We don't want to get too greedy, even though Wall Street is. We have to take profits at some key levels. Are we going to get a full-blown recovery here today? Well, it depends how high this name wants to climb. All right, if it heads back to VWAP, best believe we're going to see some higher movement within the Nasdaq. And if Google and some of the other large participants want to do the same, we're going to be on a big-time party bus here, my friend, as TQs continue to climb a little bit higher. Let's actually take some off here, guys, just because we don't want to get too carried away, even though I don't think there's anything wrong. So we're going to remove half, and we're going to leave the rest for a little bit of a runner, just in case we do go and head towards the HOD. That'd be prime time. Hopefully the pullback isn't too deep, south of the volume-weighted average price, and then continues to climb a little bit more, okay? Aziz, hurry up. Oh, no, Joe, everyone knows it's ribeye. Oh, that's crazy. I don't know about that one. I think that might be my least favorite. Now let's head over to our watch list. I think filet mignons for tenderness is something that is where you have to go. Let's head over to the watch list, guys. We're still sitting in half of this position here on the TQs. See if we can get a little bit climb higher, and then we'll just piece it up 33% of that specific size, and then see what happens from there. All right, IonQ and some of these quantum names cooling down a little bit, but the way things are looking, I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to move higher, right? So the volume is really starting to step down within selling pressure. So if we have buyers engage one more time, I think that's going to be some positivity stepping out of that space. Now Ethereum, ooh, not looking too good there, Sharif. I won't go over BMNR for your sake because I know we don't like that one. How has MSTR been doing? And same thing with Bitcoin, man. I told you guys I've been saving up some, just been putting a little cash aside for this SpaceX and Anthropic IPO. I've come to the conclusion that I will be trimming about 15% of my current IBIT position. right? I'm going to keep the rest, 15% I can live with, and we'll allocate that into something else. So that's what I got going on from a game plan. Just because, right? Like, and I talk about this quite often, we don't necessarily want to kick things when they're down, but we also have to take into consideration opportunity cost. Now, when I take out that 15%, the chances of Bitcoin and everything going parabolic are probably relatively high, but I'm okay with it because I'll still have skin in the game.
Yeah, man. You're going to buy right away, or are you going to buy on the dips? Like, what's your plan?
Well, so it'll be slow. So when I buy something, I break up my allocation, right? Okay. So say I have $10,000 for it. It's 2 here, 2 there, 3 here, then you're at 7, and then you grab a little bit more, right? I very rarely buy everything all at once. I don't think I've ever, except for my earlier days, I've never done that ever since.
Yeah, and I think that's smart as well. I think I'm going to pick up some on the day itself, and then we're going to keep a close eye, see how it trades afterwards, whether or not it's appropriate to add or what the situation is going to be. So continuing to like this level at 875 though. That's a good area of possible support. That was a resistance area as well. Just continuing to watch the tape here on CODX. So failure of 9, couldn't quite hold the level. Can it hold the 10 EMA? Sidu's ripping, guys, into 6.25 right now. So SIDU really moving up pretty aggressively here for those who are interested in that. And MWC as well, really coming into 8 there. I'm going to lament having taken that trade out a little early, but hey, that's the way it works. $1, so let's go right just like that on CODX. So we'll put in some profit takers. Let's see what kind of the liquidity we have here, a little bit above 9. So we're going to give it a little more room. What I do want to see is if the buyers step in aggressively above the $0.50, because the $0.50 is essentially the area limit right now, right? 9.45 is the high of the day on that one. So if we can take out the $0.50 in any decisive basis, I think we could make a pretty aggressive move into 10. For now, it's just holding up above 875, but it doesn't really have an aggressive bid for now. There is some support here at 890, nothing that I would write home about. I'm looking for 875, and if it doesn't hold, we'll look to something else. But there is also something else that's already moving. You don't need to wait until CODX fails or pops. TE continues to put in green candles here. You always feel bad for not like taking these easy trades ex post facto, but hey, I had this one on the side chart. I didn't trade it. South of 10, and now it's almost at 873, so a lot of strength on that. TE looking fantastic. CPSH as well is trying to make another move here. It had some 10 support. It seems to be a bit of a range, 10 1/3, 10 generally as an area resistance. Sorry, 10 as an area support, 10 1/3 as area resistance as well. But that's really all that I've got on. I'm really trying to keep a close eye, see how CODX trades, because it just feels to me like it might be destined to hit 10, but you know, nothing is destined. We'll have to wait and see if it manifests or not. I need to get it back above 9. Hangry Wife, everyone is a great trader in retrospect. Yeah, honestly, right?
Yeah, man.
Should have seen that level. That's no problem there. No, but SIDU, guys, is really going here. And every time I look at this, it's making yet another high of the day. So we could be on the way to 6.5. We already took out 6.25 here, 627 high on SIDU. Great look on these ones. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention BIYA broke trend and I'm out. So this one's continuing to bleed down into 168. Originally in at 175, got stopped out at 171. So we'll give back a little bit there. Should have been trading SIDU, Joey, because right back into the high of the day.
Oh, yeah, you were mentioning that as well, too. Oh, and it broke it, too. Oh, man, this guy's telling me about it a half an hour ago or something along those lines as it continues to climb. Nice little look here on the T-triple-Qs. We just pieced some more off as we're starting to struggle up here in this neck of the woods. So I'm like, all right, let's take some off, leave a little bit of a runner. We took the initial hit, and that's why you get out, because imagine I bag held this position, right? Like I'm just getting back to break even, just a little bit above it, but instead we get out and then we re-engage here and then bang, off to the races we go, giving ourselves a much better risk to reward. And I think that's really important to know, flipping things around once again. And we don't want to go on the red side of things, because the more often it's like that you're just playing this game of tennis and ping pong, the less likely is that you climb back at some point. I think for some reason I'm getting the feels that it's really warm outside, Sharif. I see there's a potential high of 28 degrees. I want to let you guys know the temperature here in the city. 23 feels like 24. That's absolutely fantastic. As Saturday was all day rain. Now, if there's any names specifically that you guys want to go over, you are for 6 today, brother. Let's go. Yeah, no, I might not even be. I think I might be shooting 50% clip rate right now because the only names that we traded, we took. Maybe you even know my accuracy better than I do. No, we are 3 for 6 today, Stevenson. So that's not bad. 50% and you're still green with unrealized. That's just the narrative of the beast. So let's rock and roll. Let's actually pull up USO and some GLD. I like what Katina Man, I've seen someone mention his name. Do you like gold at these levels here, Sharif? Because the more that we sell off, I start to like it a little bit more. You can see that we're forming these consistent lower highs. So is there a wedge that's starting to be made here? I think so, right? And I believe that at some point, if we break through and we do an additional liquidity grab right at this, so you can see there's multiple things kind of correlating with this level. Excuse me, are we going to be 100% accurate? I don't think so. But if I'm going into any form of a metal, it's going to be this right here. USO to 137. Excuse me, trend line's still fully intact, but I believe that we are going to head in towards 130. You just have to be extremely patient with this as the back and forth continues. One thing's happening, apparently the next minute it's not. That's been an ongoing issue since the beginning of this conflict. So until it comes to an absolute complete close and both parties at the opposite end are saying the exact same thing, not he said, she said, they reported this and that, until both are saying the same thing, that I'm going to stick with, hey, it's going to go up, it's going to go down, and it's going to come back around.
Yeah, man. That's just the nature of it. And that's like when we comment on oil, I don't have much to say, right? Because, well, I think we've all kind of become experts at this point in, this shipping lane, this percentage. It's just really a matter of what's going on behind the scenes. But do you want my, I want to voice an opinion here.
Go ahead, man.
And it's entirely speculative. But so was my opinion about the fragmented nature of the Iranian leadership. I didn't have any proof when I made that call far before it was ever articulated by the administration. As I've said, I think that the hardliners in the Iranian government are guided by theological principles that money, power, and all these things don't persuade. They think they're working for a larger purpose at the moment. So if that's my premise, and my premise is correct, which I'm not saying it is, then the logical conclusion is these people cannot be persuaded unless it has something to do with what moves them. Again, that's theology within their religion. So I think the fact that we're starting to hear a softening of a tone from the Iranian leadership might have to do with the fact that some of these people who were the hardliners aren't around anymore.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm just going to say it very clearly. I think that they're trying to identify the Israelis and the Americans who in the negotiations is holding up the deal, and they're going to clip them.
You think so?
Yeah.
Define clip.
Kill.
Okay, all right.
Execute.
They
haven't done that. They killed the supreme leader. They killed.
No. Okay, no. I thought you were thinking. I thought you were saying the inverse. You thought the Iranians were going to do that.
No. The other way around. Other way around.
Of course. Why
I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to find out who of these IRGC hardliners is kind of holding back the deal. And once they find out who they are, I think they're going to target them.
Yeah.
And I think that, that's going to have a bit of a domino effect. It's just entirely speculative. I don't have
it's never been done. Like it's never been done before.
Just a suspicion.
Like it's never been done before.
Anyway, I think we got to go to Adair.
Keep an eye on GPK, smaller cap name here. Check the volume on this. Under 2 million shares. Decent volume on the day here for graphic packaging holding companies. Currently up above this $10 level. It has made a nice push to the upside. One headline on this, I guess, are related to this. Apparently, there was according to ABC, a major chemical explosion at a competitor of GPK. So competitor faces, unfortunately, a major explosion. GPK pushes higher here in antipathy. Also, nothing market moving here yet, but just be aware. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, we know he is in Taiwan. He's been posing as of late with the CEO of Taiwan Semi, CC Wei. Now, they're gearing up for Computex Taipei, which happens next week, starting on June 2nd, keynote speech from Lip Bhutan of Intel. So this should be pretty exciting. Again, Jensen Huang taking some photos here posted by NVIDIA's official X account. Comments as well coming from Iran. Nothing massive here right now. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that. All right, continuing to watch CODX, a little above 9, a little bit below 9. This one's got all sorts of resistance here. I did get the beak wetter at 905, looking for another attempt at a move and a hold above 9. Specifically, I'm looking for a 9.5 move, or pardon me, not a 9.5 move, a 9.5 clearance, but we've got a lot of resistance in the 9 single digits, as well as you can see, you know, it pop up into 5, 6, 7. There's a lot of selling at these levels. So we'll see how this cookie ends up crumbling. Continuing to watch, of course, MWC, as this one works right back into $8. A great area of resistance there. Watch out for a sell coming in at that level, and the spread is a little bit better at this level. It's 4 pennies right now, 6 pennies, pardon me, as it changes right in front of me there. Continuing to watch as well CPSH, but it's dropping back down. But we got to talk about the DEW, because the DEW's been quite good to whoever was smart enough to take this long off a technical area of support. 638 high, topping tail, losing bid, breaching prior bar low, breaching prior low now on the 1240 candle. Watch for support at 6 though. It had a lot of topping tail candles at 6, so if this comes back into 6, it could be an interesting support area. I'm not really sure how SIDU is going to trade today, but I'm going to keep this one on watch. Derek Thompson, the problem with that theory, Sharif, is that Israel wants the war to continue. I've heard that theory made before. I think that there's an interesting take for that. Don't disagree with you, Derek, at all. We don't really know what pressure President Trump is exerting. We don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. Ivan, I think they are stalling until Hajj is over and then strike Iran. They also show cooperation along GCC, so Iran not strike GCC country. Interesting take, Ivan. If you're wondering who I'm talking about, that's Computernet. That's Ivan right there. Shout out to him. Good take there. That's an interesting take, Ivan, one that I haven't really heard before. Continuing to watch your CODX 911 on the bid. This is all over the map, guys. So set some profit takers, resting profit takers. That's what I've done. Let's see if this one couldn't hold up. Joey, make another attempt. It's got lower highs, but it's got higher lows as well. So you never really know how this cookie is going to end up crumbling.
Absolutely. Let's head back over to our watch. Let's see how some of these financial names are performing here today, guys. Robinhood, I know, hasn't been that great. And I think it's just going to be cool for quite some time. We head back to the daily, and we're heading towards the lower end of the range. I mean, this was a phenomenal run as of last year when we started grabbing it. You get literally 3-digit return there, and then some, and then now you just get back the majority of it. So when you're down 50%, you need the stock to double in order to just get back to where you were from before. So we'll reduce a little bit more in this Robinhood. My average was up here from like $40 roughly when I bought this name. Went on a big time move, we reduced it, and then we grab a little bit more around that 120. So my average is on the higher end of this right now and slightly underwater, but nothing crazy. And that's the unfortunate thing, like a really positive investment turning into something that hasn't been so much. So Bloom Energy up to 306.84. This thing's continuing.
It was up a lot more this morning. It was like 4%, and then it gave back like the entire move.
322 as of a high. But I mean, it's not completely breaking down, right? And I think that's a good sign of strength. We'll head over to VST. See what this name has been up to, breaking trend there, and 4 strong sessions in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, straight to the top side. Oklo and SMR. SMR did gap up this morning. Did it continue? Did it gap and go? As it's putting in a half-decent session here today, guys. Not bad, but a steady downtrend at this point. Consistent lower highs based off of this 1267 pivot. and it just hasn't found any form of a recovery. So a guy from work, I'm sorry about that one. There is Tag. He's obviously a guy from work. So I don't know if you grabbed any more around the $10 mark, but that's 20% relatively quick. Starting to come back in here on the Nasdaq as NVDA is selling. We might have to trail this right at VWAP, but what I want to do is add a little bit more just in case there's some indecision. But as soon as 1 minute candles start opening south of the indicator, then we have to be prepared to just trail this out. I'm only sitting on about 11%, 12.5% of this position right here. We pieced it out and a nice move. It did come down like 20 cents, but that's why we had to hold it from 96 all the way up to 22. So you grab 25 cents just to keep your risk to reward in check. And I'm glad that we didn't completely break down. We'll hold off, right? Like if those buying pressure and we get some hammer candles right along these lines, if it breaks through this, that'll put us closer to the break-even aspect. But other than that, I believe we can get some form of a bounce, especially if the bigger names want to participate. Now, Figma, how have you been doing here today? We'll head back over to our watch list. Steady downtrend. And then also RDW, Redwire. Neil was talking to me about this morning in the pre-market. He's like, hey, man, keep an eye out on this trend. So you did have a breach. It gives it all back, but then off to the races it goes. So a little bamboozlement right here. But the VWAP break, extremely key. And also aligning with that $20 level. And then you climb all the way up to 22 bucks. Not too bad of a look whatsoever. Redwire has definitely been in play as of late. You have that 22 break. That's a key pivot where we're starting to head back in towards right now. How has Caterpillar been doing? Absolutely monstrous. And then Uber all the way back to the downside here, Sharif. So no love for Uber and company right now. Let's send things over to Adara.
Keep an eye on DXYZ, guys. Destiny Tech 100. This is that holding, or not necessarily an ETF, but they're a way to publicly trade names like, I believe, OpenAI and certainly SpaceX. Either way here, they announced about 20 minutes ago the launching of an up to $1 billion at-the-market common stock offering through Jefferies. Thank you to someone in the chat for mentioning this name. But yeah, DXYZ here to the downside after announcing that up to $1 billion common stock offering. Jefferies, I guess, will be running point on this. So DXYZ to the downside. Back to you.
Yep. Another way to get your foot in the door there, but for SpaceX, of course. But I think you and I were talking about this off camera. I think I'm going to hold off as well.
Off the IPO?
I'm going to have an order, right, where I'm going to get some in. And then, really depending on the trend,
what's going
see what after, then we may add into a winner, or we may add, now, we might add on the dips. Now, here's the deal. Because there's not going to be any price discovery, because it's an IPO, both the north and south side, I think I'm going to base my entries on market cap or some other fundamental metric, because you don't have a price discovery and price levels to say, okay, well, you know, the buyer stepped in here or the seller stepped in there, unless, you know, you get a few weeks under your belt. So I haven't decided which metric I'm going to use yet, but I'm going to think this entire thing through. I'm going to have a plan, a 3-month plan for my
allocation of this stock.
I'm going to take a pretty aggressive position if I like what I see. No, I'm serious. If I like what I see, and that's really all predicated upon that. But I have a long-term time horizon as well, right? And that's the thing. Like, you can't be thinking, I'm not thinking 2-3 years. I'm thinking 5 to 10 years.
Even more, for me, I have a longer horizon on this name just because it's just such a big technological shift. I was gonna ask you this. So we're gonna be this thing's gonna open up at like what, around $1 trillion market cap?
Try like 1.7 to 2.
So
well, no one really knows, but that's what they're saying.
We know we're north of $1 trillion pretty much. Right, same thing. Most likely, you're going to be around $1 trillion in the ChatGPT if it does IPO, and then Anthropic, I think, was one of the names that I believe has a little bit more room to grow. But SpaceX, listening to Ron Barron, that is, I mean, he's been a long-time investor within Tesla. Pounds the table of it, and I mean, it's part of, like, out of its funds, Tesla has made him the most money essentially over the period of time.
And it took him like a long time to get
involved, right? So a big percentage of what he's gave back to his shareholders or the individuals participating in his fund is from the profits of Tesla.
It's not funny, eh?
And he thinks, And I mean, obviously, considering the man is involved with it, he's going to try to boost it and everything along those lines. But he's talking about $10 trillion here in SpaceX.
I mean, again, it sounds ridiculous. And anytime Musk talks about, well, just like, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't sound ridiculous to me. Okay.
Yeah.
You have, Micron ripping up in a few months above $1 trillion. You got Taiwan Semi knock on the door too. Broadcom also. Where are we at with this thing? Knocking up basically two. It's at $2 trillion as we speak right now. Taiwan Semi is. Broadcom is barely above Taiwan Semi, which I think is an abomination. Taiwan Semi should be a bigger market cap, of course. I think if it was American-based, then it certainly would be. But yeah, that's the point, right? The point is, it's just like all these companies are hitting $2-3 trillion valuations. What's going on? VCIG, everybody's yelling about VCIG. Bovin is freaking out about it.
The amount of money that these guys are spending, like, again, we never would have thought the fact that, hey, we're talking about these guys spending $100+ billion, almost $1 trillion in CapEx. You would never expect some of these companies to hit $1 trillion valuations. I think it's only a matter of time until that bar is just continuously lifted, and I believe that's what needs to be done. That's absurd, the Hawk files, that you said that. But anyways, what's that ticker that you just brought up there?
VCIG.
VCIG, is it?
Also, USAR, also very, very strong today. Be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, let's head over to our small cap scanner. I know Sharif's been going on it, but you can see the momentum plays really start to pan out here. 20% just like that in this VCIG name. GTIC, how you doing? No data on this one, which is kind of funny.
My days.
YMAT, nothing going on there. Redwire is another name that we were talking about. We're all out of this TQQ's trade now, guys. Sidhu, how you doing? That thing's continuing to climb higher and put in a new high of the day. She was talking about this at around $5.80 or something along those lines. You're now at $6.27 and $6.30, so that's a really nice move. In SIDU, VCIG, this is the name that we were just calling out as this bull flag is starting to break out now, $2.33 and change, and looking like it wants to breach some of this momentum play. I see Sharif that he buys these names at great times, right, when they're breaking out. So let's see how this one forms. I might like it as 233 is starting to slightly reject, but we're starting to pick up in a little bit of momentum and volume there, Sharif.
Yeah, we're in here, Joey. We're getting at the highs, obviously, which is never really the right move, but I add into about that 15 penny level. Let's see what we can get here, if we can maybe possibly get a move into the $1/2. Obviously, very extended, so trade this one carefully. But as I mentioned, USAR as well moving up here. Let's put it on MWC, USAR, I believe on the NQ. Above $28 it goes. Great strength on this one. Does it hold 28, though? I mean, I don't think it's far enough away to be able to hold yet, up a very respectable 11%. So I'm going to keep an eye out on that. I'm just trying to get some more in here on VCIG. Let's put something around there, and then we'll put something right around there. Let's see if we can pick that up, bottom pick a little bit, maybe take some into the area high. So let's put some profit takers as well, should this one go in the requisite direction. And we'll put something right around the $1/2, but we're also thinking of the other contingency there, which is it comes back in to the lower end of the bull flag, which I believe is the low teens. We'll look to be picking up some there as well. But I definitely want to keep a close eye here on USAR because it's a very strong structure with $28 now as an area resistance. We're above it right now on the bid and the ask, but you can kind of see the zig and zag nature of this one, a little above the bid, a little bit below, so something to look out for there. VCIG is breaking out again into another area high, 42. We'll take a little profit there. Still only one profit taker, though, looking for that main one right above the $1/2, but also thinking the other way around as well, that this could reject the $1/2, come back in, and we can bottom pick up off that level. So we're going to continue to watch that, Joey, see what we get on that one. USAR also possible support around 27.5.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, let's go over that there. How about LSCC? Any thoughts? Will break all-time high. Yeah, let's take a look at this name, LSCC, and see what we got going on here. LSCC, bang. All-time highs. Let's head over to the daily. Today, oh, okay, I mean, it's $1 something, but again, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. You can see the way that we're moving, that it wants to start to slowly fill this gap. momentum can definitely start to pick up, but I think it's key to see where the volume-weighted average price is headed. Lattice Semiconductor over there. We'll pull up the other super chat. I don't know if it's going to, but I mean, at the all-time high is a break of the high of the day. If it holds up on the bases and it bounces and you see price start to turn around, then sure enough, I think there'd be a good opportunity that happens. Nicole, what's going on? There it is, super microcomputer. Bang. All right, 5 minute. Look at this thing continue to move here, Sharif. SMCI off to the races, 6% off of that low, 6 1/5 there, guys. So that's looking really good. Nice work there on SMCI. How are you doing on a daily? Big time run, and trend line still holding up here in SMCI. Consistent higher lows, which is something that you want to see in signs of strength. 4 green days in a row. Glad that you're printing up. Send that, before we go off to Adara, pull that back up for me one more time there, Assassina. We're going to go over Mara for our girl, Nicole. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's also another rotation. We'll send it off to Adara, and then we'll touch on this here briefly. Adara, what do you have?
Yeah, I have to let you guys know, I do have some more coming through here on the Middle East, this time from Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, saying that, quote, Israel's military is operating with large forces on the ground in southern Lebanon and is taking control of strategic areas. So once again here, getting indications at this point from the Prime Minister of Israel that Israeli military, the IDF, is advancing here in Lebanon, sorry. So again, Israel continuing here within Lebanon. If there's anything else of note here, I will keep you guys posted, but keep an eye on USO once again. Back to you.
Good stuff. All right, yeah, I want to pull up just kind of how we're starting to see a little bit of a narrative change here in some of these Bitcoin miners. Sharif and I have been talking about this for quite some time. They're really starting to pivot away from mining Bitcoin, which could be huge, right? Like, so what is left at the end of the day? Are they going to wait until the next cycle, or do they even ever return to this? Because what's in play right now is NeoCloud and just AI data storage. And I think that's an extremely smart pivot within some of these names, and that's why you're seeing Marathon Digital and the Riots of the world start to really buck the trend and continue to climb a little bit higher here, Sharif. So I like that play a lot.
I like it, Joey. I like it. All right, back into CODX above 9. It's awfully bull flaggish. A couple of profit takers through the high. Let's see what this one has to offer. It's been very rangy. So you can kind of see 8.5 at the extremes, and I want to say 9 1/4, 9.5 at the. So you got a dollar range here on CODX. We'll see how this cookie crumbles. Also into VCIG. So the area low on this one is the subsequent candle after the breakout, which is the 1245 bar, which is 213 low. So we give it to 12s. We'll see what we get on this one on VCIG. Let's see if it holds up around there. We got the $0.25. Basically, you got 24 showing 25s. Looking for another continuation up on this one. Also into USAR. I'm looking for a hold above 27.5. I'm building a position onto this. So let's see what we get here on USAR. If it loses 27.5, I'm basically out there. So let's go ahead and throw in the stop loss on USAR. But I'm also, again, I'm looking to add into this one. So we'll see what we get. MNTS is moving up, says Bovin. Give me one sec here, just so I can look at MNTS. I think we did call this one out earlier. Yeah, I see that, Bovin. Topping tail candle through 14, though. I'll keep an eye out on that one, but good call out. Shout out to the OG Bovin, who had a hell of a week, by the way, last week, calling out these names. It's like he couldn't go wrong. Every time he was calling out these names, they were just ripping like, immediately upon him calling it out. So shout out to my man Bovin there. Guys, we have that same annoying seller coming in on CODX at 9:15 again. And there he is. It feels like we can't just get away from the shorts who are just hell-bent on trying to take this one down. I wonder why I don't just jump along with the longs, man. Let's wet the beak over here. But I'm putting up these profit takers because I know it's going to do things exactly like that. But my vision here on CODX is a little bit clearer now with the range established, 8.5 to 9.5. And that's going to be my view to try to pick up stuff in and around that area. And the way that I'm trying to pick up some more here on USAR is I feel like this one may be on the verge of curling. Bottoming tail, low of this candle is 268. Let's see if it can kind of work right back into that 28 area. I want to add into a winner on USAR rather than trying to bottom pick, especially since it's been so strong, right? It's only touched the 10 EMA once on the day. And here it comes again. Now we're back in the money on this one. Let's see if it can take out 28 bucks again. So 28.10 high, right? So if it breaks above 28 again, my bias will be that it'll be able to stay above 28. So that's what we'll be looking for, specifically on USAR, right? Continuing to watch CODX do basically the same thing it's been doing. And VCIG, I don't know. It's got higher lows on the five-minute chart, but the candles are super indecisive. They're all kind of doji with huge upper and lower wicks and basically no bodies. So I don't know how to feel about this one, especially since the breakout was pretty aggressive and transient. If it holds up, great. If it doesn't, then, you know, we'll have to give back a little bit. USAR coming back into 28. Let's see if it can get back above 28, and then I can add into this position, Joey. Here comes 98s now. Let's see if we can get that add into that. What do you got?
Yeah, let's head over to that super chat. Just going over a couple of things here. Yeah, man, some good stuff cooking up. All right, guys, thoughts on PHGE in at an average of 53 cents. What is realistic ceiling? Really enjoy the channel. Thanks, Ian the Pone.
Good.
In the peon. Oh, there we go. Learn how to read there. You're not a peon, man. Come on, what is that? That's insane to call yourself that PhD.
What's happening?
PHE 53 cents. You're in at 53 cents.
Big news.
What does this thing do? BioMX. Let's send it over to Adair. Apparently some big news happening right now.
Big news.
Not massive, but I think in a sector certainly that we're talking about. Thank you guys for setting that up there. So sorry to disappoint. OXY and XOM both on watch here. Occidental Petroleum, OXY, again, under new leadership. We know the CEO recently announced that she's ready to leave the company. They're going to be acquiring a 10% stake in Exxon's deep water block offshore Trinidad, as reported by Reuters. So once again here, OXY here to acquire a 10% stake in Exxon's deepwater block offshore Trinidad. Just a report for now. Back to you.
You're in at 53. Yeah, thank you. You're in at 53 cents, and you're now at $1.62. Right, so I mean, trail your stop 210% isn't bad whatsoever, especially in the span of a couple of days. Trail your stop into maybe halfway through this gap and accept it for what it is.
What happened?
What happened, Katina, man?
Oh yeah.
Wrong Apple.
I like
Let's
that.
pull up that bad boy as we're all out of.
Joey was trying to hit the bang on Apple the other day.
I'm what? Okay,
Told him
so
you're
you
not
don't want me
allowed
to
to do
you don't
that,
want me to
Joey.
cheer for you, my guy?
I know you're not cheering for me, guy. Don't even try to
what am I
twist
doing?
it. I don't know. You
Why
got
I have no
options or
skin
something
in
like
I have no
that.
skin in Apple.
None?
So other than the
Joey,
phone
you
that
gotta
I
have
paid
a
these
little bit of
guys.
skin in Apple.
So what am I hitting the bank for?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Maricum.
Here comes CODX.
Insane.
I'm just
Insane,
teasing, man. Here comes into 9.5. There's a lot of selling at 9.5, guys, but that is a new high day right now on CODX. It's really strong. It could take out 9.5 here. It hasn't printed my liquidity tester at 9.55. I've got a bias that this moves up into 10. Let's see exactly what this one has to offer. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's all good, man. Nothing. Katina, man, what are you long off Apple here in, my guy? Because 309.80, right off of the lows there. He's grabbing some, just cooking up a little bit of a storm right there. We'll give him 35 cents or so. ITM, nice look there. Jed said you didn't have to. You didn't have to.
That's criminal.
You didn't have to delete that bravely. He called me a schmexy cheer. I'm sure he meant like sexy. I take the compliment. Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll take it. Not even apple skin? No, my friend. But anyways, obviously playing with you. You do your thing. Q's doing nothing promising. I mean, we're all out of this one. It took us a couple attempts to get this bad boy rolling. We had more size on this one. Yeah, I figured that's what you meant. We had more size on this position, and then we were fortunate enough to take the ride up here, and then we get stopped out at 10%, just a bit above that break even. And now we're starting to pivot back towards the high of the day. ASTS starting to slide a little bit. We had Ramin in that second place, but we have a double top at $127, and then now we're starting to break through some key support levels. But what we do have from bottoming signals here on NVDA is that now we're only a little bit of ways, a couple of dollars away from VWAP. So 5-minute candle plus the trend line break correlating with this move right here. Not a bad look whatsoever in NVDA, and that's going to help drag the Nasdaq higher.
So CODX into an area high 960, but you can see it's struggling with the half dollar. this hasn't been a clean like momentum trade at all. The chart pattern looks good when you look at it from the 5-minute after the fact, but when you're trading it live, it's not clean. There's a lot of short selling on CODX, which is interesting because it's not easy to borrow, at least on my platform over here. But there's a lot of short sellers. It's just been such a grind to the high side. My goodness. We're involved in this one at 8 initially, and here we are waiting for 10, 960 high. But there goes USAR, and this one is now at 28.14 high. What I'm waiting for on this one is a move above the bid and the ask on the 5, and there we go. So a move above 28.10 on the bid and the ask. We're going to add into the highs here like a psycho. So we initially had, I believe, the 80s. We add in the mid-teens there. Let's go ahead and wait at 20s, showing 14s now. Good look right now on USAR. Speculated to be possibly a big person looking to take an interest in this company. So keep an eye out on this one, but it's been pretty good basically all day. CODX rejecting the $0.50 yet again. Let's wet the beak over here and see what we kind of get. How's that VCIG trade doing? Well, I'm in at 24s. It's showing me 20s. If it loses that 10 penny area, I'm out. And the reason I'm going to draw the line at 10 pennies is that's the 10 EMA on the 5. So I don't want to trade it below that. But I also want to mention here, guys, the DO is making moves, right? SIDU is putting in a bull pennant, bull flag. I don't give a, sorry, whatever it is. But it's got some higher lows here with some resistance in and around the quarter to a third of a dollar. But DO's been pretty strong here. But you can notice one thing immediately on the 5-minute chart is that none of the closing prints breach 630. Yeah, you've got a lot of wicks. It's a 638 high. I get all that. But that means one thing, that there's somebody earmarking that 6 1/3-ish area as a level of resistance, whether it's a profit taker taking off some longs from a lower area, or whether it's a short seller who likes that 6 1/3 level. But keep an eye here on the DO. It's making moves, and it could be pretty good. So we'll see how this cookie ends up crumbling. But there goes USAR. I added into the highs like an absolute psycho. And there it is into another high of day 218. Looking for more here. We're looking for that move into the $0.05 of a dollar. Here's 19s. There's 20s, Joseph options. Let's take that one off. And we're going to put now into 23. Shout out to Jordan. And then, you know, what kind of a person would I be? We didn't shout out the man himself there. So shout out to Jordan. Should we do a LeBron/Jordan poll? Oh. Yeah. That never causes any problems. People don't have strong opinions about that.
Put Kobe up there too.
You're a LeBron. No, you're a Jordan guy. It was Feifei. He was a LeBron guy, right? And he was pounding the table on LeBron for many years. Yeah, well, Katina Man says he likes LeBron's longevity. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with you there, Katina Man. I mean, that's a fact. The dude he's been in the league since 04, right? I'm not getting that wrong, right? No, I remember him specifically. I was like barely out of high school.
I just don't.
And he started playing. Like, I think he's my cousin's age. I'm pretty sure he's an 84 or 85 baby, right? Something like that. He's 41, Skinny Man says. Yeah, so he's right around there.
Wasn't he one of the last? Wasn't that the last year when they just came straight out of college? Like he didn't even, or straight out of high school?
Yeah, he was one of the last guys. Him and Kobe,
so 03.
right?
So
it was 03?
Yeah. 03.
He came out in 03. Okay, that does make sense. I don't know why I remember 04,
he was just like
but
straight out of high school.
He's ridiculous in terms of longevity, but he does spend a lot of money on his body, does he not?
$1 million a year.
Yeah, I remember him and Russell Wilson were like setting the standard for how much you're spending on your bod. Like, bro, you're not going to find an unreceptive audience in me when it comes to that kind of stuff. I think that absolutely that you should be doing that. Here goes USAR, man. Unreal strength on the RAR here. There it goes into 23s. We take the 23 print. We're looking for 25s now. USAR is on its horse, and it cannot be stopped. There's 29. I don't know why I'm not getting the print. I'm waiting south of 29. Spread probably 3 pennies, and there it goes into 30. Added like a psycho on this one. Now we're waiting at 35s. Let's see what the RAR has to offer us here in terms of prints. But there goes CODX through the highs. 78 pennies is the high now. We're looking for 10s. We basically have everything out here on CODX. We're going to wait for another profit taker, but there goes again USAR, Joseph Options. It is ramping now into 53. Let's see what USAR has to offer here. Do we get to 30? This feels like an aggressive breakout on USAR. Last red candle we had was 1250, so it's not like that long ago, but it's been on a pretty gnarly uptrend since, I want to say, about 5 to 12 today. 1155 breakout candle here on USAR. Adara brought us the news earlier that there was some speculation that a big money investor could be taking a position into this. You never really know how this thing is gonna, end up unfolding, but something to be on the lookout here. USAR, all sorts of strong, Joseph Options. VCIG, I call him that sometimes, Katina, man. We're looking for VCIG to bottom out a little bit here and then start moving possibly into that 230, 233 area. A lot of bottoming tail candles right off the 10 EMA. That has me a little bit, optimistic that we could get a couple of good prints, but we're going to keep an eye out on that. I messaged the Katina man on the weekend. I was asking him, how much he's spending there, like on an average yearly basis.
Where? At Amazon?
That's classified information.
It's not.
No, but I was asking him, what he's spending on the upkeep, like just basically repair and maintenance for a house. Because it's entirely different bag of tricks for a condo because you pay all that through the maintenance fees, right? I could ask my parents, but I don't think I'm going to have a house, like theirs. So it doesn't make any sense asking them that. But it's been almost a year now, man. End of July will be when I sold my car. We're almost in June. And I have been basically aggressively saving since that time. So we're almost a year, another year to go.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
all right,
so hopefully another year to go. But that was a quick year, I'm not gonna lie, right? That was a quick year. I didn't anticipate that I would be able to actually look, I just gotta be honest with you guys, I'm not really a good saver, nor have I ever been in my entire life. So this is new for me.
That's new?
This is new, yeah. So I didn't think that I would be able to do it for this long, to be honest, right? We went on a couple of vacations here and there, but we tried to keep everything low, right?
And you got a couple in the pipeline too.
Yeah, well, it's relatively, can I be honest with you? The Colombia trip is pretty cheap.
Is it?
Yeah, the flight is cheap. The Airbnbs are super cheap.
That's good.
We'll see how the whole situation over there goes, but
that's good.
Yeah, man. So I was asking the Katina man. He's like, "Look, what do you spend in there? Because you got to be able to figure that out if you're gonna have." But it also comes down as well to what kind of house you buy. Do you want to pay up a little bit for a house that doesn't have any repair costs, right? Or not even a newer one that got taken care of by the seller, or do you want to pick up something and then have expenses pop up every now and again? It's dealer's choice. You know what I mean? But
that's why I guess it's important to have you want to hire a good inspector when you're.
But brother, what are they going to break down walls? How are you going to find mold in the framing and stuff? It's hard, right?
I'm sure they have that form of technology where they can.
What are you laughing at, Miami Dragon? You will find something to spend money on in Colombia. Yeah, every time I bring up Colombia, you guys have really, really interesting takes that I haven't heard before from anybody else. But you guys seem to, on my life.
You haven't heard.
And I actually did find out a little bit of information. So my cousin went to school in Florida, in South Florida, right? And he's like, how do you not know this about Colombia, right? I was like, I felt completely naive. Like I had no idea what was going on. He's like, yeah, you might want to look at this stuff.
But now you know, and you're still going.
Yeah, well, the trip's paid for, bro. I've got a commitment to my cousins here, you know what I mean? Yes, here we go, Joey. All right, VCIG coming back from the depths of hell. Into 29 it goes. We're going to wet the beak there, but we're looking for a bigger move up, I want to say into the 30s. So VCIG holds the 10 EMA, but doesn't exactly rock it up. So 3 positions right now. We got the RAR USAR looking quite good. Looks like it's on its way to 29, but it's got to breach and hold above that $0.50 level. We've got CODX also hanging out pretty much at the high, showing 970. It's a 978 high a day. Unreal. Thank God some of these comments get blocked. But and then we got VCIG, and I've got a bit of a bias here that VCIG at least glances at the $0.5. It's a 242 high. Let's see if we can get up to the $0.5. I've got a whole bunch of resting profit takers. There's 34, there's 35. Looking for high 30s here. Where are we waiting, Joey? We're waiting at 38s. Nice green candle here manifesting quite aggressively on VCIG. There's a seller of note, though, at 35, which will precipitate me to get a beak wetter there to test the liquidity. Unfilled it goes, so this is a big time seller at 235 here. Can't shake the seller. Okay, well, we're shaking. Wow, what the hell? What the hell? It's like you took off all the size on the level 2 and then it dropped. So that was an interesting state of affairs there. So 3 positions, guys. We're going to monitor all these ones. It's 1:15. Hopefully we'll start the news quickly here. Just let's resolve some of these positions and then we'll go.
Yeah, have you ever been to that Harvey's?
You're talking about, I'm assuming, the one
Church,
Church and Jarvis.
Yeah,
or
something.
Is it Jarvis?
Something
yeah,
right there.
Of course. There used to be
some crazy stuff.
I've seen too much. There used to be an Arabic restaurant there that was open late, had shawarma. It was called Laziz.
Yeah.
And it was right beside that Harvey's.
Was it?
We saw some shit, man. Let me tell you, bro.
By the way,
I don't want to
Harvey's
see
is,
ever again. Shout out to Adam James abroad.
For those who don't know, Harvey's is a Canadian burger joint.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, guys, let's get into some stock trading. But yeah, I used to crush that Harvey's all the time, to be honest with you, and see the wildest stuff. And then as I got older, I'm like, what am I doing going here? It's pure
There was
dirty.
like one of the old, back in the day, it was like there wasn't too much open at night that you could get after a club, right?
That was like
that was one of the only ones.
Hung Shing. Have you ever been to Hung Shing?
Of the on Spadina?
Yeah.
Didn't Drake make
I don't know, man. I was going there way before Drake, man. Come on, get out of here.
Well, I didn't say you weren't, dog.
Yeah. We said Joe. No, you should have said Joe was going there, not Drake.
No. Wow, okay.
I'm playing around. Anyways, guys, some nice
See that top 3 albums there, eh? That's all time. Nobody's ever held all 3.
I like it.
Nobody's held top 3
that long?
Top 3 all at one time. He's the first, apparently, to ever do it.
All right, so shout out to...
There goes VCIG.
The Drizzy. Here's some of the other big names. We're talking about Netflix holding up here around $88 from a daily. It still hasn't broken through this support level. I mean, we already had that breach of the $90 mark, and then we sold off down to $85. I just don't like this overhang here within the price action. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit more liquidity obtained here, right? And absorbed is the word that I was looking for, and then maybe it can go. And this is another name that I'm fortunately going to have to reduce the price. My average is $90, so I'm like a $2 out of the money. That can change relatively quick, but we'll take something flat on that. And
incoming on CODX.
And as for coin, not doing too much. You want to talk about CODX?
No, I just want to mention it's coming into 10 resistance, 10.15, huge seller. I'm posted at 25, monster seller. 16, 17, 18. These are highs. Get it, Adam. Adam says we're going to 12. I'm going to take out the last of my orders at 10.25, come hell or high water. There's a seller moving down now. 17 showing up again. You'd feel like the short sellers would get squeezed at this level because they've been everywhere, but that hasn't been the case, man, which makes me feel like on a different platform, are these easy to borrow? Because they're certainly not on mine. There's nothing available here for borrow on IB. Obviously, there is at Real Trading, that goes without saying. But it's just a thick trade. There's 16s again. There's 17s. Look at that. Can't even print anything above that. Such a staunchy seller. I'm waiting at the $0.25 here. What do we have on? We got 04s. So there it is, Joseph. Options into the $0.25. That is the high of the day, 10.24. I lied. I took it out at 24s. But there it goes. CODX awfully strong. Keep an eye out on that. Also, VCIG popped up into another profit taker there. I tested 43s out because 44 is the high of the day, and it rejects. Look at CODX go, though, 1041 high. Shout out to Adam James abroad. He had the compunction to be able to spot the $12 resistance on the wider time frame. Shout out to my man. He's doing it live. He's trading a lot more of these small cap gappers, and more pleased I could not be. Watch out here for CODX. It's been a bamboozling one, though. A little on the positive side, a little bit on the negative side. Keeping a close eye on this one. Shout out to my man, Bovin, CODX on RH showing 836% for borrow rate. Jeez Louise, Bovin. Yeah, that's definitely not easy to locate. I don't understand why it's such a thick trade, though. Because it is, man. It's like we haven't even had one halt up on this thing, and it's been moving crazy. Taylor, ask Adam where AMD is headed. Why don't you ask him yourself, man? I'm just taking a joke at Taylor. Iceman is. See, that's why your stuff gets blocked, Adam. You can't say stuff like that.
What do you say?
You can say the stuff like that when you and I are talking. It's not going to let him say that. Dude, are you kidding me?
You think that's bad?
It's a slur. You know that, right?
I mean, it is.
All right.
That's fair enough. Hold on, Tree. Let me go over a couple of things here. I mean, yeah, that's why. Yeah, it's a troll job. So I mean, if you want to rub it in a little bit more here, yeah. But what he said before that is definitely. Yeah, you probably can't say that, but well, yeah, it is.
I love him anyway, but you know.
Yeah, no.
He put it in again. He's so stubborn. Why are you like that, Adam?
Yeah,
I love it.
He's got his way, man. What did he say?
Yeah,
he said the exact same thing.
Dangerous guy, bro.
Yeah,
I used to call him the prickly one because, you know,
he's on the edge, man. Yeah. He likes to flirt with the edge.
I like it.
There's AMD again, printing a new all-time high here today, guys. And we're talking about just an absolute monster run. We thought this was going to cool down from 197. You get 150% just like that. And it's only a matter of time until this name hits. From a market cap standpoint, $1 trillion probably. It can happen quick. I wonder at what price it needs to hit that $1 trillion club. We can figure that out, no problem. AIMD, what is this name? These are some more small cap gapper names. Here's Anos Inc. starting to break through the volume weighted average price.
Ooh.
I'm not Anos Inc.
Okay.
AIMD. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a small cap trader and be like, hey guys, look at this move here. Start to pick up, but it doesn't look too bad. Very e-liquid though. I think that's a big time issue. Other than that, go ahead.
No.
Oh, I thought you said you called my name.
I'm just watching.
Google 5-minute. Let's take a look at what we got going on over there. Guys, we had our trades on for the day. That'll probably be it for me as Google on the 5-minute. We're not going to stress too much. Yeah, I like that one there, Gorv. Ooh, okay. Oh, man, don't tempt me with a good time here now. Gorv, as Google right at the volume-weighted average price. We do have this downtrend here, guys. That breaks and this lower end holds at 385. I'm going to be looking for a potential long here on goggles.
There goes CODX into 1079. There is a seller, though, at 75, 76. They're getting clipped right now. So be on the lookout here. 11 incoming. It feels that way anyway. Not a whole lot of areas of support we can point to, right? Because it's been breaking out pretty aggressively. The only other area that I can point to right now is 9.5. And we're almost $1.50 removed from that level, $1.25 currently. But here's 1078. Here comes possibly 11. That 75, that $0.75 keeps featuring as a local area of resistance. I'm not inclined either to want to use the $0.50 as any area of support, quite frankly, because this one hasn't been that kind of trade. It's not like you could say, oh, you know, the $0.50, the whole dollar are acting as key areas of support. They're not. And you can see this one zigged and zagged basically all day. 220, not you again, VCIG, you punk. It's coming right back down. Does it hold the 10 EMA? The 10 EMA is basically overlapping with that 220 area. And last but not least, USAR almost coming back into our entry over here, showing 17s. I'm going to flatten out this trade. I pick up some more at 28. We'll wait at 28.05. Let's see if we can pick some up there. Maybe it comes down, maybe it doesn't. And then I got to tell you, the SIDU, it's continuing to look really good. Not really the same kind of profile we had earlier. We had that Christmas tree retracement off the rejection of 6 down into VWAP. And then it was basically a buy program since that time. But it's not trading like that anymore, right? It's not as directional. Look at this. It is putting in some higher lows and higher highs. But it's more of an upward channel / bull flag than any, you know, sort of mean reversion off VWAP, which it looked like it was before. So I'd say look for, you know, the bottom picking there off that trend line. Try to hold trend. We'll have to see how this one ends up trading. But, yeah, that's it. So I got USAR pretty quickly there at 28.05. Geez Louise, and it's ripping up already into 15s. Let's post up something at 20. Let's see if we can get that there, and we'll post up at 30. So I just figured, you know, $28, good area, obviously, of support for USAR. It also just happened to be the 10 EMA on the 5. And here it is again, ripping up into 18. Cancel that one, move up the other. We'll put it to 27s. Yeah, so that's what we're looking for, Joey. I flattened out USAR because I didn't like the downtrend, but hey, it ended up holding at the 10 EMA. We're not out of the water yet, but let me tell you something else. Anything below 28, with 28, we're in at 28.05, ends the trade for me, so we won't really give back much in the way of anything there if it does go against me. So good price, but it needs to continue up to the upside. RXT being called out by Grunfeld. Pull up that one. See what we got here. Oh, it's had a good couple of weeks here from what I can see. Yeah, good call out, Grunfeld. This is not a bad looker at all. Good steady state stair step up. Not a bad looker at all. This is RXT, just 3 simple letters there. Throw in the ticker. I like this one off, especially that 490 area. If 5 gives way, I'd be looking for 490 here in case it does find some support there. So USAR bouncing off 28 initially. It's not really catching much of a bid here, guys. We'll see if this one can hold 28.
All right, good stuff. I'm just scrolling through the chain here to see what we got going on. I mean, what is really, really holding this name back? And I think you could be able to identify within the options chain. We talked about the size increasing after the bell, especially after this gap up this morning. $230, there's a lot of size there, but I mean, we're $15, $17 away from that marker. The first supply zone was around the 18s, which would have been around 220. That put you at that next strike price right here. So, I mean, aside from 217.5, I just don't feel like this is enough size. The size of the float, and obviously with the market cap, I'm surprised that this wasn't able to be absorbed. And then sure enough for us to climb a little bit higher, putting some of these contracts, the short side of things, underwater. It is what it is, but we'll continue to monitor this name because once whatever is lifted, I think we'll have some room to climb. It's just heavily shorted right now, and I think it's displayed within the price action. Now, as for Google here, guys, 390, not too bad. I mean, this name doesn't have typically too much open interest or options activity. What does and is usually at the top side of things is Apple. $315 can be most definitely in the works. So, hey, listen, we were talking about 310 last week. Let's actually pull up the chart here and just get into what I was getting at. So we're going to head over to AAPL, and I believe we did close below 310.
We did.
Yeah, exactly.
I was about to send you that. Because it was like 309.99 or something like that.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so I was like, is that like an options thing where like somebody on the other side of that contract didn't want it to close about 310, otherwise they'd be on the hook for some money?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like they push it down.
You'd be assigned short Apple at that level. It was like 308.80, right? And I mean, it did climb from an intraday standpoint up to 311 plus. And I'm like, hey, man, there's just too much size in Apple for us to close above this. And if that was the case, you would see a rollover into the next week. But sure enough, you close at 308. So those contracts were safe for the options writer. We tried the NVDA play last week, guys, during the earnings report. That was a big time no-go. And then as soon as after the open, it was just AC to that one. You're down 10% almost off of the high now, Sharif. And it looks like it wants to climb down to 195 with the current pace that we're sitting at. That would put you down 17% once again. And we were talking about before we pivot, we were down 17%. Where does that lead the Qs?
Where?
Pull that up there. 12% from here to there, Sharif. Now that we're continuing to climb, that's a little bit more, 13%, but nothing substantial. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point, and I'm not saying it's going to happen soon, that we see a little bit of a pullback in the Nasdaq, considering this is an app. This is a crazy move, man. It is mind-boggling in my opinion to see the market that. Like that. Pardon me?
I haven't seen it. Other than post-COVID, March 2020, maybe, and basically the highs that we saw there. But that was because, there was just so much money.
There's exactly.
Wow.
So much money being spent. So I think I mean, until this CapEx really starts to cool down, you have to take in the fact that these guys are putting an impact on GDP.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. It doesn't even go down that road, man, the productivity. But yeah, I'll get to that in a second, guy. I think that's a really good conversation. But a VCIG, what a rip, guys. We had this one, I believe, at 19s, taking it out at 60 there. 59, pardon me. But it's ripping, man, into 64. VCIG is on its horse here and about to clear 100% up on the day. Very strong name. There is resistance here at around 2/3, but I think it's probably going to be a clean setup into 3. Bottom pick, look for area support and resistance, possibly a move back into the $0.50. VCIG, what a rip up. Shout out to the OG Bovin who called this one out early on. I didn't like it until, you know, that 2 mid-teens area, just so I can get an idea of how this one was going to trade. But a great bull flag breakout. Be on the lookout here. VCIG is absolutely him and looking to do some more damage. Unbelievable move here. But I wanted to mention something. So Dario Amodei, he is, of course, the lead at Anthropic. Him and his sister, they run the show there. They're both former OpenAI employees who are kind of disgruntled with Altman, like many people have been, and set up their own thing. And he said something that really caught my concern. He doesn't see, okay, how about I put it in the positive rather than negative? He sees a situation where GDP growth is like high single digits, 8, 9, 10% even, like the 80s, but high unemployment. Think about how that could work. He sees basically jobs not being added, but the efficiencies that these companies reap from AI just add so much to that top line, right, for national GDP. So you have Microsoft with blowout earnings. Obviously, it's a temporary state of affairs because let's be honest about it. The U.S. economy and most Western economies are consumer-driven economies, right? We're not net producers, at least not yet anyway. So he feels, you know, that it could be one of those situations maybe for 5 years, 6 years, we add double digits, high single digits to that GDP line. All of a sudden, maybe adding high single digits, even double digits to the unemployment rate.
Really?
Yeah. That's what he's saying. He doesn't see it as contradictory, at least in the short to intermediate term. I think that should scare some people. Now, having said that, let's put this into context. This is the guy whose company is the doomerist sort of AI company. AI is going to end the world, but, you know, put it in our hands. We know how to manage it, kind of thing. And that's what they've been trying to sell Anthropic and Claude as for a while. So I feel like those two things you typically would have thought couldn't exist at the same time. But
yeah, I find that interesting because,
you know
I mean,
what I'm saying? Like,
if you're adding that much onto GDP, at the end of the day, you're going to have high tax payments from some of these larger names. So wouldn't the government really reinvest that? And then essentially what you do is you start building more infrastructure, which could maybe help balance out the potential of the unemployment line.
But where do these companies get their revenue from? Right? At some point, it has to come to the consumer.
Well, you need people to buy this stuff, right?
Even if they're B2B, Joey.
Yeah.
Like, so say, you know, Azure renting out cloud space, I don't know, it's whoever,
but then it can only be so cyclical, like literally cyclical, right? It's just like, okay, right?
It's interconnected however you want. So if it doesn't show up in 5 years, it's going to show up in 10, right? Or whatever.
Yeah, I think part of the answer, I don't think it's going to be the complete answer, is just build more infrastructure, which would piss a lot of people off, but more housing, more to keep people in line in the working aspect, in the working field. So, I mean, at the end of the day.
I want to hear some of your comments about this, guys. You guys think I'm out to lunch here? It's not even my thinking. It's not original thinking at all. That's his thinking. Recession is but guaranteed, LOL. Almost all numbers are saying it. Ocam's razor, I don't know what that is, but I think I've heard about that before. I'm copying that so I can look it up. Great question. Stop asking it. That's hilarious. You don't need a job. Just give it to the changing consumer habits. Interesting. Manpower cost savings, Sharif. Manpower cost keeps going up. My humble opinion. I get that. Nover Nong. But he's got a name, Katina, man. What can I do, right? But at some point, you know, the consumer's got to generate money somehow if they're going to spend it, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like if the unemployment rate ends up being really high and you don't have the same kind of consumer-driven market that we've basically relied on, I think, since the 70s, where do we go from there? And I think that that's kind of a general question. Anna Shelton, yeah, stagflation is the worst scenario. I think that that's what you and I are agreeing here, that probably will be some sort of stagflation there, especially with GDP growing, but unemployment not. Fear-mongering isn't working out. AI is also creating new job positions. Great take, Danker 415. I want to say something here about that. So it was actually, what's his name? What the hell is his name? David Sachs, who on his X account posted this. So the proposition has been that, you know, AI is going to get so good at coding that it's going to put software engineers and computer scientists and coders essentially out of business. That's not what's happening. David Sachs actually found statistical research that showed the job position, the openings for software-related engineering positions actually up. And his theory is that even though you're going to have a lot of efficiencies in the software space, what will end up happening is you'll have more code generated that's being managed by less people. So all those people who were typically taking 2 or 3 months to write a specific piece of code, now because of the efficiencies in AI, they can manage 2, 3, 4 projects at a time. And that doesn't necessarily take away jobs, but it adds to productivity. So instead of, you know, having a company launch 1 or 2 new products per year, they're able to launch 10 and 15 simply by maintaining the same level of employment, but getting a lot more out of each individual employee. Increased productivity per person, so to speak. So your point very well taken, and I think that there is actual statistical research to back up what you're saying. The point is, it's only current for now. Who the hell knows what happens in the future? So great call out by you guys. Let's go up to Adara for some news.
Couple different stories to talk about here. We'll start with the stock-specific one, JD. As you can see, JD just pushed here into a new intraday low. Financial Times reporting that Brussels is going to be opening an in-depth investigation or probe here into JD.com's proposed takeover of Seconomy. So JD.com wants to take over a company. Brussels, according to Financial Times, will be looking into this takeover. A couple more headlines here out of the Middle East to be aware of. First, we're seeing a report here from Al Mayadeen suggesting that the advisor to Ghalibaf, parliamentary speaker of Iran, has said that Tehran will walk away from talks with the U.S. if the U.S. continues to, quote, play word games. So Iran threatening to walk away from these talks. Now, separately, Babak Vadat reporting that Iran has warned that any Israeli strikes on Beirut, Lebanon would, quote, destroy the entire negotiation track with the U.S. So lots of threats here from Iran to walk away from these talks with the U.S. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Yeah, you guys have really good points there. Some of you guys are a little snarky. I get that. Maybe you're in a bad mood or something. But some other really good points, guys. Jay Lee, it does add to software writing overall, but the real issue has always been quality over quantity. There is far too little quality code these days, and AI can't do that. It just spams. I don't know, Jay. Look, I'm not trying to say AI is the end all and be all, and it's the savior to all the coding problems. But what you hear internally from some of these software developers at, you know, Anthropic, even, you know, actual AI companies is they're not even really writing code. They're just generating code and managing it in a way that seems to work. And so they're kind of acting sort of as the amalgamator for all these different pieces of code. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm assuming, Rudy Amid, you're just being rude. I haven't actually listened to All In this last weekend, but I did see David Sachs's tweet about that statistical thing. If you have a counterpoint, rather than engaging in ad hominem attacks and trying to attack David Sachs, why don't you come up with your own proposition? Throw it in the chat. Let me know what you think. Engage in the dialogue. What else you got over there, Joey?
But I mean, to add to your point, it's just like, even people here, Shree, feel like I don't even code anymore because there's no need to. It's just you prompt. generates some of the code for you, which makes things significantly easier, and it's a massive game changer. What's going on is just like, hey, I'm working on something, you just prompt away, and then sure enough, some of the tools, whether it be OpenClaw or Claude Code, ChatGPT, that just generate everything for you, and you can refine it within the actual platform itself. So you show its bugs, and it corrects everything, which is absolutely insane, which allows things to be more efficient. So the fact that it has the ability to find its own errors and create the new code that you need for whatever you're using, and I think that's the massive difference in what can potentially happen.
Absolutely.
It's just the problem solving, I think, is just something that's really big. All right, the main point is that beyond the point of turning back, you still should learn to code, but this is not going away. That's fair enough, right? So that's like saying, hey, you should learn how to build a car before you drive one. I don't completely agree with that. There's nothing wrong with teaching yourself a new skill, but I have no idea how to build a car, but I can tell you I can turn one on for free. And I think that's what the benefit of using some of these tools is, that it allows individuals who didn't know how to do something specific use the tool and the mechanics of it. All right, guys, let's take a look at the TQs. As the market is slowly starting to come back in, NVDA is starting to tank here at the end of the below the volume weighted average price as it heads towards the low of the day. DRAM, I just feel like I should just buy this name, punch long, and close my eyes, because it just continues.
Can you believe Micron's up 20%?
Yeah, I can. I truly can believe this stuff because it's just going on a generational run, right? Like we're talking about the extreme demand for some of this stuff. It's insane, right? Like from the close on Friday, 751, you're getting 20% right there. DRAM doing the exact same thing, Sharif, even though I think Micron's one of the smaller holdings on it, if it's in it at all, but you're getting 12% in this ETF. SK Hynix and Samsung are the leaders of this here. SanDisk is in it as well, too. What is SNDK doing? SNDK, $1,600. This thing's gonna hit $2,000. Are we gonna get a split here in SanDisk? I think so, relatively soon, because you get more retail investors involved, and I think it'd be a smart play. Why? Because in a couple of weeks, you're going to have the PDT rule uplifted, and then you're going to have more retail investors really start to step into the market, which I think can be a big event. And we can see some names like Robinhood maybe start to climb a little bit higher, and some of the other kind of meme names, because I'm going to start to categorize Robinhood, even though there's a lot going on for it. It's an underwriter in the SpaceX IPO coming out. They want to be at the forefront of the tokenization of stocks and equities, which is good, but the way it's been performing and the way some of these fintech names have been performing has not been good as of late.
Yeah, well said, Joey. Let's look at VCIG here, guys, because it continues to go. 274 high, showing 70 right now. We were out at 60. It continues to trend up in a very aggressive way. A lot of topping tilt candles, though, into the 70, 74 area, something to be alive to. I also want to point out that CODX is showing a lot of support at 10 bucks. Look at this. So it's got some lower highs here, so that's the bad news. But these bottoming wick candles all breach 10, but they're aggressive buys off that. So I don't think the end of the trade has shown up quite yet for CODX. Now, it's been a tough one at times because it breaches key levels. So you're going to need to be quite strategic in where you get in and where you place your stop. So right away, I would look to this area over here on the 1 minute chart. The low there is about 988, right? But if you're really looking for not a random support level, it would be around 975. That's where we had a lot of resistance initially at that $0.75. Got a lot of downtrends right now, at least on the one. Let's see if it holds up above the $10 area. I could be interested here, absolutely, in getting back into CODX. Current bar is a higher low. Prior bar is a doji candle, essentially, that breached 10 and rocketed right back up. But we can see here locally anyway, there's a seller between 10.25 to 10.33. So if we get above that, I think we could be probably big gravy. And there we go. We're already taking it out. Let's see if we take it out on a closing basis. I did take a breakout trade on this one before. I just want to remind you guys that I did take a breakout trade at above 8.5. It was this one over here. and we did quite well on that. This one I didn't take as a breakout trade. That one I punched into manually because it showed $9.5 buyer. But here we are again, right? Zigging and zagging a little bit, you know, at the 10.25, a little bit at the 10 area. I'm definitely interested, even though with 18 minutes left on the show, to weasel back into this one, but you never really quite know how CODX is going to act. If you don't like that one, you can look at this one, VCIG, another high a day. Into 83s it goes. This one's on the way to $3. It's got a lot of volume locally here that's picked up, I want to say, around 1240. Before that, it hadn't been doing a whole lot of volume, so the volume's all, you know, local area volume, not pre-market or early open volume. So VCIG on the way to $3 here, and KC 526 doing it again. She's gifting people on her own birthday. She's already gifted 10 memberships. She just dropped another 10 membies in the chat. Shout out to KC 526, man. She gives with two hands, man. She's fantastic. Shout out to you, Case. Appreciate you. I hope you have a fantastic birthday. Casey, what'd you do for your birthday? Or are you doing anything today?
Hey, man,
let us know what KC 526. I think she's from New York. I wonder, were you gallivanting on the town?
I heard it was flooding in New York.
It was flooding here, man. Man, she's probably busy right now, man, because this thing is about to hit $3. Into 292 goes VCIG, man. You got to take out some profits here. An aggressive move for VCIG. 292 high, and it looks like it's going for more, Joey. What a breakout here. Unreal.
Yeah, big time breakout. We were thinking about the reload here on the TQQs, but what we got going on with Google as we were looking to break some of this trend here, guys, right at the backside of the front end of this trend. And if you have a 5-minute candle open up, there's a nice consolidation at 385.95. Gives you a nice little move here so far. So a 5-minute candle, maybe you get an additional leg higher. What do we look like on the daily? I know we've looked at it a couple of times, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we can head up a little bit higher into this range, which would be key for this name specifically, downtrend. And this is a secondary trend at that breaking and the momentum really starting to uptick. The Nasdaq tracing this name relatively tight, so let's keep an eye out on that. Anecdotal take. 2 partners and myself used AI code to algo trading platform, which took no time at all, and now we are hiring, all thanks to AI. Congratulations to you. Nice, man. Good hearing that stuff. I mean, hopefully you guys pay well as well. So go apply to our Birdman, JRD. All right, guys, let's take a look at a couple more names here. I'm not in anything. We're going to be patient and wait for another opportunity here on the Nasdaq. As we bounced off of the volume-weighted average price on multiple occasions. With that being said, if it does crack, then watch out for some more downside. But it also could just be a liquidity grab, and then maybe we get a little bit of a move higher. As NVDA seems to have come to an end on its pullback, you have that downtrend starting to be broken, and then now you're starting to see some more aggressive buying step into this name. This is key because we have higher lows on the NAS with a flat top at 728.21. And then sure enough, we're starting to form this wedge. And if it breaks, you can see some strong upticks. But it's going to be led by this name right here, NVDA. If that decides to get rocking and rolling, then it will most definitely help drag this name a little bit higher. Tesla double topped almost. You can see that there's a supply zone at 433. We'll call this a whipsaw move up into 434, and then you just come right back down. But other than that, there's a clear resistance zone at that specific level. And keep an eye on it just in case it doesn't want to breach. An additional pullback here. We want to see the volume increase as we break through some of the resistance zones, and then I think that will give you a good opportunity to head off to the races in that specific name. But yeah, nice, Birdman. Congratulations, and thank you for that. Wow. Happy birthday, KC. Wow, Dave's salesmen are there's a big $100 for KC 526. Yeah, keep it real as always, and fantastic stuff, to be honest with you. I don't disagree with you. They're having somewhat of a background in coding isn't bad. It's not going to hurt you whatsoever. But yeah, Casey and Dave really living it up here today on Casey's birthday, yesterday being Memorial Day. So congratulations to all who turned 1 year older, Sharif.
Yeah,
IonQ, let's see what some of these quantum names are starting to find their way here today, guys. Selling around 61, you're $2 higher on this specific name. Not too bad of a recovery as it punched through the volume weighted average price and multiple buying signals around these lows. Almost a triple bottom right at that 60.48 marker. So not too bad of a look on IonQ. How's RGTI? Are we regretting this one here today? I mean, it's nothing fantastic, and it took some time for it to turn around. I just don't believe it's strong in some of the other names. QUBT, there it is, bang, off to the races it goes. I mean, I shouldn't say that at all because it's still constructing lower highs. It's IonQ who's been the stronger one here today, Sharif.
Did you hear about the money that washed up on the Florida shoreline?
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Hold on, you didn't hear about this? I think it was like...
I know, I've seen it.
You saw it? You actually saw it?
As soon as I seen that, bro.
Hold on, did you see the report that came with it or no?
No, how much was it in there? It was like 100 million or something?
It was millions. But you see what happened with the money?
No. They took it, eh?
The guy reported it.
I know, man. What was up with that? Yeah, I seen that.
What?
And then I seen like the Coast Guard.
Look, if he reported it, I guess if there's a lot of people looking, right? You know what I mean? Maybe he has to there. What is it? What are even rules about that? Like,
you find that? If no one claims it, you know, here, if
no,
no one claims it.
No, I mean, like, would you get clipped if like criminally, if you didn't report it? Right, because it's in the water, it could be cartel money.
It was
right?
Well,
obviously, right? But like,
you know what I would do? I would stand right in front of that if like we were in the water together. I'd be like, Sharif, I'm watching this bag. You go and grab the cooler.
Yeah.
Bring it out there. We're getting, like,
yeah.
There's negative chance that I'm gonna be reporting.
0% chance.
I will take the risk. You know what I mean?
I'll do what I have to do.
I'll do what I have to do.
I'll grab a couple of bands there and make your way off. Right?
Doesn't even matter.
I just could. Look, man, reported the money, Jets Dad 28. Apparently, like millions of dollars floated onto the shore, and this guy reported it to the authorities. Good on him. Whatever. I wouldn't do it. But anyway, CODX is losing the bid. Nicole Harris wanted me to look at Ford, and this is trading like a small cap gapper. My days. Ford up another 4%. Let's just look at the 30-minute time frame here on Ford. So this has been quite good, I would say, since the breakout day back on the 13th of May. I mean, it did give back a little bit there off the top into that $15 area. We dropped back down about almost 14.6%. But since making that area low into this area high, we're up 22. So Ford continues to chug along here. Where is it? In the daily range, oh my days, it's above 15. That is a critical level, as we've seen for multiple years for Ford at 15. This area as well, let's not forget about the July 2023 high, 15.44 or 15 and a third. We're at 15.53 as a high today. Shout out to Nicole for pointing this one out. We're trading literally at the high of the day as we speak. So 15.53 and continuing to chug along here. Fantastic look for Ford, and thank you very much. GGR MI Reaper for €2 super chat saying VIV, VIAV, and CRDO. Look at those. CIDO, let's see what that one is up to. A little bit light on volume, up 11.8% on the day. It's only done 52,000 shares, but it's up nicely. This is the daily on CIDO, so it's definitely seen some better days, but it looks like it has support here at the dollar. The other one was VIAV. Yeah, let's start with that one. This one looks a lot better on the daily. VIAV Solutions, what do they do? Network test monitoring assurance solutions, that's what it is. This looks a lot better. So this is a fantastic daily chart. So that's the daily, guys, on VIAV. It's been a rocket ship as of late. And this is the 5-minute. They both look fantastic. I'd say ride the trend off the 10 EMA into that 54 area, which you're not far away from. So great look here for VIAV. Great call out. Shout out to GGR or MI Reaper, or M Reaper, I should say. Great call out by you guys. Honestly, right? Get it, Randy. SIDU is ripping, Randy. Look at that. It's going to get to 6.5 here, man. Unbelievable trade here from SIDU. Continues to go. I think Obi had this one short or something like that. Yeah, 6 And there's good volume as well on VCIG. So both are looking very good here, Joey.
All right, man. Good stuff there, brother. As the market continues to move a little bit higher, guys, $81. That would have been a nice re-entry on that one. NVDA finding its way. Marvell up to $208 on the session, or $217, coming in a little bit off of that high. The daily, I mean, it's an additional gap up. Starting to form these shooting star dojis, but something I would keep a little bit of an eye on. I wouldn't be surprised if it blows past that previous pivot high, 217, heads up into 220, and then you finally start to see some form of a pullback. But where did we see this type of price action before? Just look at this. Daily print. What was CAR, right? Avis Budget Group. Where did we see some of these signals up here? This thing would have fall from grace. That was 800. Dude, I don't think I've ever seen that drastic of a fall. $422 from the peak to the trough here in one session. You eliminate half of it in one day. I've never seen anything like that. That was insane. And it wasn't like it was extremely fast. It was just all day selling. Google, great long here. Nice look, Joe, SMCI. Thoughts? Yeah, that wasn't even my look. That was Gorev, man. We have to give credit where credit is due. And Gorev's like the one who's like, hey, man, we got to take a look at what's going on with Google, right at the volume-weighted average price and on that 5-minute indecision print at that specific level. Great call out. Held the levels, and if you're going to stick with strong names and play these have this style of trading, then sure enough, you're putting yourself in the right place and at the right time as Google is slowly starting to find its way. Now, as for SMCI, I believe we all sit in the same boat with this. Some fishy practice going on, but it doesn't seem to matter at this point, Sharif. $62 is the high. You're still 40% off of it, but what we do have from a technical standpoint is consistent higher lows, which is something positive. Do I love the company? No, not necessarily. Do I like what they're doing? No. And with that being said, I think I'd rather put myself and my cash elsewhere, and it starts with an A and ends with a D in advanced micro devices as we start to think about grabbing a little bit more. It's tough here, a little bit more. I don't have any. I'm in NVDA, which unfortunately isn't the best performer right now, as AMD is at all-time highs, and we're about 9% now, 10% off of the highs here on NVDA. CPHSH, closest resistance 2021. Does it matter? Is that a name that you're trading here?
Yeah, I did actually have that. That was one of the side chart ones. That was a bamboozler for me anyway initially, and then it ended up being quite relaxing. Once it got above that 10.5, I think it was able to hold its footing. But you saw multiple attempts at 10.5, all of which failed until they didn't. Right? You got the topping tail candle at 10.20. You had another topping tail candle at 11.40. You had another third there at 12.55. So the 10.5 area was certainly an area that the shorts were earmarking for resistance. But it goes through 11 and a fifth the high. It's back into 10.75. The irony, though, is not lost on me at all. That bottoming tail candle at 150, the low is 10.60, and it got bought right back up. So be on the lookout here for CPSH. It's been a good one on the day. It's 80% in Greensville. Likewise with SIDU, we talked about DO looking fantastic here, up 26%, and a very, very stable trade. So on the lookout for that. You had you have F as well. I'm in VCIG. Let's see if we can get through that quadruple top in and around $3. Looks like the buyers are stepping in at around 60 pennies. I was saying to Timothy in the chat, I'm like, if this loses 60, it's out, but it feels like it's accumulating. Here's 95. There's a print at 95, 98 now, the high of the day on VCIG. There's going to be resistance at 3. I mean, that's not going to surprise anybody, right? It's just, do we spike above 3? And what's the situation after the break of 3? Do we continue or do we zig and zag 10 pennies below, 10 pennies above? I perceive support at 260. If that ends up failing, then, the trade is probably needs to set up in a bit of different way. If it clears 3 pretty decisively, it's probably going to use 3 as support. So VCIG should be in focus here for the small cap gapper incline. Shout out to John Del Segno as well. Plug pumping out of a cup and handle. Let's have a look at Plug Power. I'm hesitant to even want to load that up on a side chart there. Because, we lost $1 on that.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like the smallest loss ever, and the one that I can never seem to forget about. But there is Plug Power looking all sorts of bull flag this year. Good look here for Plug Power. It's been running with FCell. It's been running with Bloom Energy. FCell is up, 0.4%. Bloom Energy was up like 4.5% in the pre-market. It's down now 307.02, but still up 1.5%. I like this, man. I don't want to swing this in the way that I'm swinging FCell, but hey, look at this, man. This is a rounded bottom there, and if Big Spile was in the chat, he'd be all sorts of impressed with this
you
look.
gotta say his name because now he's gonna super chat and just be talking pure smack.
Yeah, LJS, Timu Pitbull, all that stuff. Yeah. 175 support there, Joey, on Plug Power, up another almost 6% on the day. This is the daily on Plug Power. So, hey, whether I'm crapping on this one or not, it does look good on the daily. How does the sell look like? FCell is a bit more directional, as you can see. It's pretty much parabolic into 28. I had a bit of a bias that we get into 30 on FCell, whether it happens in a straight line or not. But as we talked about when I gave you guys this early May, where was this trading early May? It was trading around 12 or 13 bucks, 14, 15 bucks, trading at 25 bucks now. So not a bad look, but make sure you're in this for the right reasons, right? The technicals have to hold up. I don't even know why they're breaking out, and I kind of don't care, right? That we're looking for the technicals. I'm not looking at investing in this company at all. Maybe it ends up being a good investment. Maybe, I don't know. But right now, I'm in it specifically for one reason, and those are the technicals. So if it loses $20, I'm out. Simple as that. It's got to hold up above 20 now that it's cleared it pretty decisively into 28, which is basically right around today's high, 27.66 high. So I'm looking for 30 on this one. Let's see if we get it, and if we do get it, Joey, how long it takes to manifest.
Yeah. All right, so Sharif, you brought something to my attention earlier this morning. This is the NASA ETF. Katina, man, have you heard of this bad boy? Thank you for that, Sharif, as I'm really liking what we got going on, even though this thing has gone absolutely insane. You're going to get 100% in the matter of a couple of dollars. What are the top holdings of this NASA ETF, you may ask?
Yeah, what is it?
Sorry, guys, for not even showing you the chart. Here, I have the answer for you right now.
Gosh,
are you in it, Katina, man, NASA? Maybe Neil is. Neil, are you in NASA? No, all right. So.
Oh. The Tina Man's working for him now.
All right, ASTS.
There goes VCIG.
All right, we don't got that much time, man. We got to be off the air sharp at 2 o'clock sharp, Sharif. ASTS, Space Mobile, Rocket Lab, Planet Labs, EchoStar, Firefly, 5N, Filtronic, OHB.
Filtronic?
Yeah, do you know them?
Then I'm definitely punching.
Then you're dead, because those guys are okay. And SpaceX, the preferred there, Sharif, via SPV. Okay, that's interesting. And then, did you also ask me here momentarily what's in the DRAM ETF? Yeah, for sure. I could tell you guys that right now, no problem. SK Hynix at the top of it, Micron there, Samsung, Kioxia, SanDisk, Seagate, Western Digital, Windbound, and Nanya Technology.
Who?
Nanya.
My bad.
Nanya Business. What's going on? All right, end the stream. It's 2 o'clock.
Wait, man. There goes VCIG. I hope y'all are holding. Here comes 310. There's 314. This is ramping into the highs, 314 high. Look for the quarter dollar. If the quarter dollar fails, look for support at 3. If it doesn't hold 3, then there's like a triple top into 290. Just going to give you some levels before we get off the air. The 10 EMA on the 5 is showing 273, 275. So that could be an area of import as well. But if this one clears 3 and clears it decisively, this is going to go. So be on the lookout here. VCIG, him, her, whatever else there is out there. It is really going. Look for the break above there. Shout out to Mark9670. He's dropping 2 in the chat, Joey. Thanks for the VCIG call out. I made $1,000 today. That's a fantastic look there. And I'm very pleased for you, man, honestly. We hope all of you guys are printing multiple storms on that side of the screen. Otherwise, what's the point of us doing this, right? Like, and calling out these things over here. So there you go, Joey. VCIG is continuing to go. And we see the Katina man. He's long 309.15 on the dead one apple. He's also been short softy for as long as I can remember on the day. Shout out to the Katina man there, 418.95 short.